Are we doing a pregame interview or anything like that? Oh, yeah. I forgot to ask. Are we doing a pregame interview?
Tonight it is two teams that are close in proximity, usually in the table and always on the scoreboard. 16th meeting between Indy and Pittsburgh. 12 of the first 15 have been decided by a goal or a draw. With that as the backdrop, we welcome you to Michael A. Carroll Track and Soccer Stadium. Greg Rakestraw, Dan Capsalis with you. Thanks for joining us on Wish TV and nationwide on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. For the Indy 11, they were off last weekend, but 10 days ago, Dan, they got their first league win since March 15th. 1-0 over Birmingham. What impressed you about that W for the Indy 11?
Well, first, it's on the road. Second of all, it's one of their fewest wins that they've had. So hopefully it catapults them into tonight, gives them the confidence to take this into their first home victory tonight.
First league clean sheet for goalkeeper Hunter Salt. He was named the USL Championship Team of the Week. He had 6 saves on the night. Cam Lindley had the only goal. The Indy 11 held a 1-goal lead for over 90 minutes of that match, and getting Hunter Salt back in form. To me, that was the key storyline from last Wednesday.
No question, and Hunter Salt, deservedly so, player of the week. I mean, he's had a great game. He's had a great career. It's nice to have him back in the game tonight.
Now, frankly, a 1-0 grinder like this match is kind of what you expect when you play a Bob Lilly team. Well, for the Hounds, they had an offensive explosion. They had 2 last week against Detroit City.
Right.
Again, they're always tough to play, and Robbie Mertz earned the Championship Player of the Week honors with an assist to former Butler Bulldog Karen Barnes and a goal of his own in a really good win last Saturday.
Well, Robbie Mertz is the real deal. I mean, he's so dangerous. He can punish you from all different directions, and the combination with him and Williams and Danny Griffin up top, look out for these 3 guys.
That celebration, by the way, very purposeful. Congratulations to he and his wife. She had given birth literally 2 days before the match last week. Now, home, well, it's a great atmosphere, but it's not been kind to the Indy 11. How did the Indy 11 reverse that stat that we're showing you on the screen?
Well, they take what they did last week, Birmingham, and they bring it here to the home field. They have to get that home victory. Pittsburgh is not good on the road. They've won 1 game on the road, so both teams are kind of in a deadlock here between whether they're playing well on the road or whether they're playing well at home. So let's see if Indy 11 can pull this off tonight.
Lineups, opening kickoff, come your way next. It's Indy 11, it's Pittsburgh. You're watching on Wish TV and the CBS Sports Galazo Network.
Tonight's match is presented by Community Health Sports Medicine, exceptional care simply delivered. And by your Central Indiana Ford dealers, a proud sponsor of Indy 11 Soccer. Visit your local Ford dealer today for great deals on your favorite Ford vehicle.
This is Molly. She loves road trips, hikes, her dog Max, and cars that fit her lifestyle, like this cool new ride that she got with help from Indiana Members Credit Union at a great low rate. And for when she's on the go, IMCU makes it easy for her to pay from anywhere thanks to their digital banking. Looks like Molly is really getting the max from her credit union.
It's very true that it takes a village to raise a child. And when it comes to my healthcare village at Community Health Network, it's all nestled right in my phone. Accessing healthcare is the ability to be connected with your provider and ask a question when you need it. I feel like when I'm meeting with a community nurse practitioner or doctor, they're tuned in to what is going on with me and the way that they can serve me best.
Stand by me. Find it, try it, paint it, love it. 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 Find it, try it, paint it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League.
Let's get you to our starting lineups there, presented by your Central Indiana Ford dealers, a proud sponsor of the Indy 11. By suggestion of Dan Capsalis. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Same lineup for the Indy 11 that got that win in Birmingham 10 days ago.
Let's do it.
Elvis Amo up top and Cam Lindley back in the 11. Not many changes for Pittsburgh either from their win against Detroit City some 7 days ago. And again, not one but two former Butler Bulldogs. Carmel native Eric Dick in goal, last year's Golden Glove winner. And Perrin Barnes, who got his first professional goal 7 days ago. Alyssa Nichols is our referee. Mateus Dulski, Christopher Sladen, Fermin Sanchez will be on the staff with her tonight as well. Thanks for joining us. Augie Williams, of course, double-digit goals for the Indy 11 last season. Now applying his craft for Pittsburgh. There is a lot of familiarity. Pat Hogan, Edward Chizza from last year's Pittsburgh squad with the Indy 11. These teams know each other very well. Thanks for joining us now in Indianapolis. We're currently on My Indy TV because NASCAR coverage continues. I've got Adam Alexander's cell phone. We'll text him and say, hey, stop talking so we can get to Wish TV.
There you go.
When we have an opportunity. And now you know, by the way, the voice of the action on the CW is an Indianapolis native, I think North Central High School graduate. And hello to those of you watching in Pittsburgh on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. Appreciate you being with us on this Saturday night. If you watch Sportsnet Pittsburgh, you're used to seeing baseball from about 5 blocks south of here. That's the proximity of this stadium to Victory Field, the home of the Indianapolis Indians, which now for 20 years has been the AAA affiliate of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Great connection there in that one, Greg. Boy.
So first touch by Hogan again. Last time he played for Pittsburgh in this building, Pat lasted about 4 minutes in the match. He got a red card for a high boot. Riverhounds still kept that as a 0-0 game into the 70th plus minute. Danny Griffin got a goal. It looked like the Hounds were going to take a 1-0 victory here over Labor Day weekend last year, playing a man down. That's when Romario Williams stepped up to a late free kick, at least got points for the Indy 11. Both these teams were playoff teams a season ago. 2 years ago, Pittsburgh was the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference. They have not hit those heights since then.
Well, they've got work to do. Got a lot of catching up to do in that regard, Greg.
But their DNA, they are so tough to score on.
The keys for Indy 11 tonight, we're talking about managing the midfield, and I like what Coach McCulley has done and getting Cam Lindley in there. He regulates things. His soccer IQ is so high, his vision, his distribution, like having Cam coming through the middle there. They can manage the midfield, keep their defensive shape. They've given up 20 goals. That's a lot. So they've got to keep their defensive shape and stay disciplined. Pittsburgh, high pressure on defense, and they have only scored 10 goals this year, Greg. So they've got to find a way to execute in the final third better than they have in recent games.
Keys to the match are brought to us by your Central Indiana Ford dealers, proud sponsors of Indy 11 soccer. From the Pittsburgh perspective, what is Bob Lilly and company focusing on tonight?
Well, just like I said, high pressure defense. They've got to find a way to make sure they like they're doing right now, putting pressure on the ball all over the field. And then in the final third, they've got to do a better job of executing. They've got a lot of shots on target and on goal this season. Only 10 have gone in. So they've got to do a better job of finding that final ball in the final third.
Guillaume Vector will switch sides of the equation. He is a new addition to the lineup this week. Has seen a lot of time in terms of being a reserve. Sean Suber back from last year's team. And this ball played forward, and Hunter Salt will have the easy play. Now, when Indy 11 played here last 17 days ago, he was watching from the sidelines. Reese Charles Cook got his lone league start in that match. That was the 4-4 goal fest between Indy and Hartford on May 28th. Again, Hunter won the job last year in late April and did not relinquish it really until about a 1 week stretch where it was Charles Cook that got the nod of the Jägermeister Cup win against Knoxville against that game against Hartford Athletic, but then had the clean sheet last week. Hunter on his second-year loan from the Portland Timbers. What did that reset kind of mean to Hunter Salt for the Indy 11?
Oh, I mean, the confident level for him. I mean, that just giving him that opportunity to come back. I mean, he had a little bit of a lull there, but he's got the confidence now with that road win last week and getting Player of the Week. I mean, he's back in form, and he's a huge component to what Indy 11 need to be doing tonight and getting him to perform. So it's nice to see him back.
Quick check of the injury report brought to us by Community Health Network Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. It is a substantial injury. Aiden Stanley is out for the year, torn ACL. Pittsburgh fans remember him getting an assist in the victory that Indy had at Highmark last year, June 1st, a 2-1 Indy 11 victory. Foul against the Indy 11. That injury to Aiden Stanley happened nearly a month ago against El Paso. So Finn McRobb is the guy that has not tried to spell Aiden, but has got minutes that left back position. Other than that, this team is healthy. It's Augie Williams that is the player that is down, and his former teammate and Cam Lindley will offer to help him up.
McRobb, like you said, Greg, has done a nice job stepping in for Stanley. Unfortunate that Stanley's out for the year, but McRobb's done a nice job. What we're going to see here with Pittsburgh, Multi coming through the midfield, looking to connect with Burtz and Griffin and Williams. They've got a tough combination, and those guys, those three, up top and moving in the offensive third with Malty coming through the midfield. Indy 11's got to be really, really careful on transition here and marking them through.
Augie, 1 goal so far this year after having 10 a season ago for the Indy 11. One of the all-time greats in terms of goals scored in the championship. There is one other player absent tonight for the Indy 11. It's not due to injury. It is the man that scored the tying goal when these two teams got together last Labor Day weekend. Romario Williams, who had a brace as a substitute against Hartford 2 weeks ago. He is out on extended national team duty for Jamaica. So he missed last week due to World Cup qualifying. Now he is on the Gold Cup roster for Jamaica. So we will not see Romario for the next 2 weeks. We'll see him back here on June 28th. And speaking of being here, we hope we see you here throughout the month of June and July. This is the first of 5 successive Saturdays in which the Indy 11 are home. It is known as the Summer of Soccer, presented by Indy Roof and Restoration. It could lead to you having a chance to win a getaway trip with the Indy 11 to see them play the Charleston Battery on September the 6th. Amo gives chase. Eric Dick plays it to Cam Lindley. That's one Hamilton County native playing it to the other. Only problem is they're not on the same team. Opportunity for the Indy 11.
And you don't want to be giving that ball to Cam Lindley in the open midfield like that. That was a bad ball by Dick.
Amo to Blake. Blake got the assist on the Cam Lindley goal 10 days ago. Hogan against his former squad.
Lindley with space is dangerous. He's got such vision, such great distribution. He can execute in every way, shape, and form. And he will punish you if you give him the opportunity. Really like to see him in the midfield tonight. It's just a great look for Indy 11.
It's simply been such a log jam of talented players that unfortunately Cam has been a victim of the numbers game. He played a lengthy stint in the Open Cup against Miami. Appeared against the Philadelphia Union as well. His last 2 games in league play are his first 2 starts in league action this season. Slowly working back to Hunter Salt. Robbie Mertz gives chase. Probably one of those guys that we have seen all 8 years that the Indy 11 have played in the championship. He's been a couple of years playing in the Atlanta United system, but other than that, the Pittsburgh native who played collegiately at Michigan, he has been a hound for most of those years. Here's Quinn. McRobb, native of Scotland, played for Minnesota United's 2 team and Next Pro a season ago. Good spell of possession here, though, by the Indy 11. And frankly, that doesn't deter Pittsburgh. They don't need the ball a lot.
They're very well disciplined defensively. They keep their shape very well, Greg.
Amo trying to create some space. Williams, he'll be on Striker's Island at times tonight. He's got players like Mertz and Griffin that are awfully darn good at finding him or creating opportunities around him.
Well, he makes so many runs. He makes himself available. He sees the space. He drags defenders into that space, and then there's runs going on behind him. So whether he's just making a run doesn't mean he's going to receive the ball. Sometimes he's just acting as a decoy just to open up some space for Williams or for Mertz. So every run he makes has purpose.
Thanks to our friends, the Keystone Group, specializing in transmission developments, construction, management, and investments. Long-distance ball flag went up. Famu will quickly reset.
It's the kind of game, too, where this is a 50-50 game. I mean, this is going to be a 1 or 2 goal game, and 50-50 balls are so important. And which team is going to be able to win these like that?
You're a big fan of the expected goal stat, Dan. You've been doing this so long.
Yeah.
You get into much of the analytics, the modern analytics of the sport.
As far as just the amount of goals?
You get the expected goals, like the graphical pop up. The expected goals would be 2.1 versus 0.4.
I don't as much because it just, I'm always, you always get it wrong sometimes. It's tough. This game is tough to predict. This game, with the way these two teams have been playing all season, feels like it's a 1 or 2 goal game.
Well, but
you never know.
The reason that I say that is that we may have to break out some elementary school like fractions. It might be like a quarter versus a third.
I'm in trouble.
This is going to be a tight game.
Yeah, I think so.
Opportunities will be few and far between. This
is not a 4 to 5 goal game that we've seen, so I don't believe so. So it's it's a simple prediction. We'll see what it looks like, but both of these teams are pretty well evened out. What I like to see Pittsburgh do, and what they haven't done yet, with Griffin and Williams and Mertz, they're really kind of going down the middle, and there's not a lot of flank play going on. So that could be really easy for Indy 11 to defend if they're going to keep coming down the middle like that. We'll see if they can spread it out a little bit.
Mertz will send it in. Bending ball. Bruno Rendon got there first. Sample will track it down for Pittsburgh. Rendon again. Last year's USL League One Defender of the Year, but scored 15 goals playing for former Indy 11 man Eamon Zayed when he played for the Hailstorm in northern Colorado. Of course, this match is brought to us by Community Health Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. Exceptional care, simply delivered. And everybody kind of resets and reloads formationally here. Griffin wearing the captain's armband for a second year for the Hounds. Has 4 goals this season in all competitions. Walty, and not what was intended. Biasi was the player closest to it. Throw in coming for the Indy 11 in minute number 12.
Example there of Walty just serving the ball in. I was just about to say the Pittsburgh has had such nice possession, short passing, 10, 5, 15-yard passing to feet, keeping possession. And then right when I was about to say that, Walty just knocks it long into no man's land. So not the ball he was looking for.
Walty, one of the iron men for this team. He's played every minute of every match so far for the Hounds. Eric Dick has done the same in terms of league play. Talal Osamanu with not much pressure at his feet. Again, these two teams are going to approach this match, I think, very similarly.
It very much resembles a classic chess match, Greg, where they're trying to figure out, which move is next and what move is going to happen, and taking time to kind of figure each other out a little bit here. But
well, we showed this, in the opening segment of the match in terms of our pregame show, and Indy's home struggles have been as simple as they've been bad at home in terms of allowing goals. I mean, multiple goals. Every home match they have played, Hartford had really been struggling. They scored 4 in 46 minutes, and I think you are seeing a different kind of tact being taken by the Indy 11 tonight.
Well, their defensive shape looks better. They're not flat. They're spread out a little bit where they're managing the marks. Again, the transition from the midfield coming through, we talked about it earlier in the game. Managing the midfield is the key to this game, specifically for the 11. What I like about what the 11 are doing, too, is Lindley is kind of playing as a pivot player. He's rotating left and right, and he's going to be dropped back just a little bit behind the other two midfielders in front of him. So as a pivot player, he's going to have a little bit more of a presence. But both teams have to manage the midfield.
Murphy. You literally just hear tight coming from the Indy 11 bench. In other words, hold your defensive shape. Ball finds Osamanu.
It's good pressure.
Factor being chased by Jack Blake, and again Hogan into open space, but doesn't hang on to the ball for long. Fans, you can show your Indy 11 pride and get your exclusive IMCU Indy 11 debit card at any IMCU branch. You're online now at imcu.com. Offside.
One of the other factors of this game, too, Greg, is it's very humid tonight, right? And that could play a factor in players cramping up and players getting winded, and we'll see which coach goes into their bench and when they go into their bench to get some fresh legs out there. But the humidity plays a role, plays a factor in this game.
And frankly, it's something that neither of these two teams, who, the weather is often the same, and these two locales not far from apart, they haven't had conditions that would replicate this yet this year.
Not yet. So that, you think about the game and the technique and the tactics that are going on, strategies. The weather is a factor, and it can become an opponent if you're not too careful. So we'll see how both coaches, Coach Lilly and Coach McCauley, manage their bench as well. Keep an eye on that.
The man we showed you on the screen, he is a legend of American soccer coaching. Bob Lilly, 411 wins. There is not a pro coach in this country, men's or women's soccer, that has more wins than does Bob Lilly. was with Rochester for many years. Joined the Pittsburgh Riverhounds in 2018. Almost a giveaway by Musa. Ends up being not too detrimental for the Indy 11. In fact, here's an opportunity. Rendon in space. Amo making a run. Rendon trying to get to the byline. Well defended. It will be a corner. First one coming for the Indy 11 in minute number 16.
Love Rendon taking him on one-on-one. He's in a 1v1 situation there. Try to take him to the outside. Great defending by Pittsburgh. Gives up a corner kick. Great ball here. Down the slot. On the flank. Opens it up. He's got some space. Tries to take him on the outside. Nice scissor move there. Great D just getting it in, but rewarded with a corner kick.
Eli Murphy, that will send it in with the right foot. One of the many talented midfielders for the Indy 11. All the way through the 6. Loose ball, Eric Dick.
What a save.
With the first stop, a deflection, finds Murphy. He recycles Quinn off the side of his foot.
Wow,
and
what
has
a
a
save.
very memorable goal in a 3-1 win at Pittsburgh from nearly the midfield stripe when Indy that year handed Pittsburgh their only regular season home loss. It's currently Pittsburgh fans, he's on their radar. Aiden, second in terms of minutes played in the history of the USL Championship. Tonight, Dan, his 273rd start in the championship.
Absolutely amazing. A testimonial to his resilience, and you got to be healthy to get to that level of games, and that's outstanding.
Musa a whiff, but again, because Williams is really kind of playing by his lonesome a great deal up top.
We just watched a second ago. We just saw goalkeeper Dick make an incredible save. The ball was put in the mixer. There's 8 to 9 players with feet everywhere, and he came through and slid down and made a great save on that play.
Are you telling me there's a reason he was a first-round MLS pick a handful of years ago?
Yeah.
You're telling me there's a reason he was a 4-year starter at Butler? Perhaps the reason why he's got 20 clean sheets in a season, the third in Pittsburgh, and was the Golden Glove winner last year?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
He's pretty good.
Fantastic resume for sure. He just came up huge.
Biasi plays it across, doesn't get through, but it will be a corner. And again, for those of you from Pittsburgh that are watching us tonight, Eric is Google Gobble, one of us here in Central Indiana. Carmel High School,
local
Butler
boy.
University.
Love it. Love to see that journey he's been on, and brag about the fact that he's from Indianapolis.
So another corner kick coming. Mertz sends it in, Salt a punch. Sample will be the first to get to it. In dangerous moment here. Barnes sends it back post, and Aiden Quinn, well, the NBA Finals were played down the street. Just blocks his man out and doesn't let Robbie Mertz get to it. This reminder, fans, be sure to watch Wish TV, your local news source. Find them online at wishtv.com. Opportunity here for Cam Lindley. And we want to say hello to everybody watching us now on Wish TV. NASCAR Saturday action has come to an end. Adam Alexander got my text. It was time for soccer in Central Indiana. My name is Greg Rakestraw, joined by Dan Capsalish. Not missed a goal yet. We're in minute number 20. Rendon with the overlapping run. And we have not one guest joining us now, but two. So good, sir, if you can introduce yourself and our new best friend that's here on camera.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. I'm Cameron Farley.
Goodness.
I'm Senior Director
Look
of
at this,
Operations
sweetie.
and Strategy with Indy 11. And this is Peppa Pig. She is a pet that's adoptable from Indy Humane. She'll be adoptable next week, and she's just about 2 months old right now. So,
It's adorable.
Now, you know we can't concentrate on the match while you and she are here, right? You're aware of that?
I'm aware.
All right, tell us about the Pups on the pitch night and how you convince 22 guys that are locked into their match to all carry good, sweet boys and little ones like this one out with them for the starting lineups tonight.
I think this is one of the, I would say, players' favorites as well, getting to carry the Pups out on the pitch and have Indy Humane here in the building tonight with adoptable dogs and cats is definitely always a fan favorite and one of our favorites as a staff as well. So
now, was there something in the season ticket package where you could click adopt an animal when you came here in June?
We need that next year, I think, Greg. I think we'll include that next year. But yeah, no, we everybody's welcome, and we have in our fun zone tonight we have Indy Humane with their van here with, like I said, adoptable pets, dogs and cats. So
how many actually get adopted? Like from this night? I mean,
that's a great question. I know that we had quite a few last year. I think they bring about 10 or 20 animals, and I think we got at least half of them adopted last year.
Oh, my gosh. So. Amazing.
Peppa Pig's wrestling me right now. So,
in terms of promotional nights that you've done with the Indy 11, where does this one rank?
This one, I think... It's up there. It's hard to beat little puppies like this, and honestly, the big dogs too. My dog's here tonight, so definitely this is a good one for me to get my mom out to a match, which is always great. So.
Now, sweetie, I love you. Don't chew the headphone cord. We kind of need to hear him in case there's another.
Got that puppy smell, too. I love it.
Or so left.
Love it.
So, again, whether it's Indy 11 website, app, or Humane Society, what's the best way to find out more information about little ones like this?
IndyHumane.com on their socials as well is where you can find out about the adoptable pups. And, yeah, we want to see them all get adopted, so go check it out.
And while we've got you here, it is the beginning of the Indy 11 Summer of Soccer presented by Indy Roof and Restoration. This is the first of 5 consecutive Saturday nights in which the Indy 11 are playing. Same bat time, same bat channel, same bat location right here on the campus of IU Indy. How is that promotion going so far?
This has been a fun one for us. Shout out to Indy Roof and Restoration, our partner with making the Summer of Soccer happen. This is a really cool one. We haven't necessarily done an away day trip, exclusive giveaway. So, yeah, if you want to make your way down to Charleston and cheer on the boys in blue at Patriots Point later this year in September, you can sign up at indy11.com/summer of soccer, and you can enter this for free. It's a free sweepstakes. But we do hope that you'll come out and join Rake and I and everybody else here at Carroll the next 4 Saturdays. So there is a ticket bundle that you can get as well, which will get you more entries into the sweepstakes, and you can find all that information on Indy 11 socials.
Now, do you want me to stay? You want to stay and do play-by-play so I can take the dog, or you want to take the dog and go enjoy the rest of the match?
I think I'm going to take the dog and let you do your thing. Shout out to you, Greg. I really appreciate everything that you do for us and the Indy sports community as a whole, and having me on, I really appreciate it, and Peppa Pig does as well. So.
And Peppa, if you want to visit in the 45th, 65th, and 85th minutes, you go ahead, okay?
We'll see what we can do.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks for bringing them.
Again, one of the great promotions that we have with the Indy 11, and again, thanks to our partners at the Indy Humane Society, Pups at the Pitch night.
Fantastic.
And again, I noted to you we were off camera when this happened. When I see 22 players in full kits, all carrying a dog with them, I'm like,
yeah.
I like where this is going.
I've seen thousands and thousands of games. I've never seen that before with the you walk out with a little kid. This time they walked out with a puppy. Every player walked out with a puppy. It was so cool. That was adorable.
Well, again, the Indy 11 Summer of Soccer, presented by Indy Roof and Restoration, runs through July 12th. Follow Indy 11 on social media to learn more about how you can take part in the Summer of Soccer promotion. Have a chance to win an all-expense-paid trip to Charleston, South Carolina. I'm not sure I've ever been more distracted during an interview than I was right there. Normally, I'm pretty good about keeping laser focus on the match.
Yeah.
After about a minute or two, I just stared at Peppa Pig right in the eyes, man.
You know?
And I'm of the age where my kids were Peppa Pig watchers.
Right.
In terms of the cartoons.
Was there a game going on?
I almost was asking Peppa about George and Mommy and Daddy Pig, the whole 9 yards.
Fun stuff and cute little animals, dogs and cats, and I'm a huge fan of both, as many of us are, and if you got it in your heart to find a way to adopt one of these, you'll change your life.
I can tell you he's not having fun right now is Alal Osamanu. He is the player that was kind of pulled up, maybe clutched a bit of a hamstring, and in fact, John Bush gets the message from the Pittsburgh trainer, hey, you got to make a change. So there will be an early substitution coming in here. Osamanu's done for the night in just 25 minutes.
What's been working well for Indy 11 here, Greg, is switching their point of attack. Pittsburgh seems to be kind of going down the middle with Mertz and Williams and Griffin. We've talked about it before, but Indy 11 has done a better job of changing the point of attack, which is going to shift the defense and try to create some new space. they can continue to use that. This is a nice wide field, right? Got to use it.
And I'm glad you brought up the width of the field because it's a small one that the Riverhounds play on at home. Mertz has an opportunity. Beautiful back heel. Williams in stride. Couldn't get the shot away. Hogan, the former Riverhound, with the block. And at least shepherds that ball across the byline for what will be a corner kick. But that, by far, the best scoring chance for either side so far.
No question. This is absolutely the angle we're at. This is going in. Hogan doesn't get this ball. That ball's going in far post. Caught Salt off guard as you see him diving to the left a little bit. Great block by Hogan, and certainly the best opportunity for Pittsburgh to this point.
Beto Edrock will be the player that comes in for Pittsburgh. He is a usual starter. He has missed some time due to playing for the Puerto Rican national team. He replaces Alao Osamanu, who unfortunately could not continue. So it will not be a man short for this corner. Third so far of the match, taken by Robbie Mertz.
Restarts are important. Can they execute?
Bending ball in. Goes all the way through. Can Sample get to it? No. We do have an Indy 11 player down inside of the 6. That's Musa. He appears to be all right. It will be a goal kick coming for the Indy 11. And again, bit of confusion. I think there was an inadvertent signal by the fourth official that it was Perrin Barnes that was exiting. That's not the case. It's Osamanu, the injured player, that exits. Beto Edrock in his position. And all of our substitutions are brought to us by Morales Group Staffing, offering flexibility in both staffing and operational efficiencies.
And those types of substitutions, Greg, are not ones that coaches necessarily plan when you get an injured player. Certainly they know the routine, and they've got guys that come off the bench instantly, like Edrock has.
And my guess would be is that Bob Little was planning on bringing him in the second half anyway.
Yeah.
Because he's normally a starter,
right,
but he had been away with national team duty. So again, maybe a little bit unplanned, but not exactly an unfamiliar face that's in there.
Just changes the strategy just a little bit, but still familiar territory as Edrock, like you said, has been starting most games.
Super keeps that away from Elvis Amo.
It's nice when you have a deep bench,
Eric Dick will blast this one to the other end of the park. Hogan. And Hogan last year played in much closer proximity to Eric Dick, right in front of him along that Pittsburgh back line. For Pittsburgh fans wondering about Edward Chizza. Throw-in's going to be coming from a little further up the restart of the ball here for Pittsburgh. Chizza has kind of settled into coming in off the bench for the Indy 11 this year. He has scored twice, but Elvis Amo got on a tear at the end of April that carried into May. And since then, Amo has been the starter with Chizza seeing time, usually every match in the final 20 to 25 minutes.
Chizza started out hot, and then Amo just got on fire. Different level, so pretty simple decision for Coach McCauley. You got a player like Amo who's just producing constantly. Tough to ever take that guy off the field. When you're that consistent, even more so.
Your Central Indiana Ford dealers are a proud sponsor of Indy 11 Soccer. Visit your local Ford dealer today for great deals on your favorite Ford vehicle. Sample giving chase to Lindley. Amo trying to hold up play as best he can. No whistle given there. We play on. Mertz has Williams to his right. Williams had just started to drift towards him. Two not on the same page. Goal kick coming for the Indy 11.
Miscommunication there.
And there's been 3 or 4 times where there's been a ball that has gone an opposite way so far for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they seem like they're as much chemistry as they have up top. They seem like they're just a little bit out of rhythm right now. They're not finding each other. They're making runs, and then they're stopping their runs, and ball's going through, and they're giving it up. So they've got to clean that up a little bit.
The find is McRobb on the far side. Former Butler Bulldog and Perrin Barnes tracks him down. Long distance ball for Rendon, and Rendon handles it craftily well.
Ball by Lindley.
Lindley is capable of that 3D ball. Murphy tried to draw the contact. That no whistle was given. I think he was hunting for a foul there, was Murphy. Sean McCauley not happy about it.
What a ball by Lindley. That was 60 yards in the air on a dime to Rendon's foot.
Opportunity here. Williams, Edrock, and again, Williams and Edrock not on the same page. We had a chance to see this Pittsburgh team play the Indy 11 in a preseason friendly all the way back in mid-February. There's not much stock you would put in the result. For what it's worth, Pittsburgh won 2-1. They played at Grant Park indoors here. But again, these teams are very familiar with each other in terms of just at least playing each other twice during the course of the regular season. They see each other in the preseason. There's not been a playoff matchup between these teams over the years, even though both have been frequent participants. And to be honest, Pittsburgh more so than the Indy 11.
Pittsburgh, surprisingly, trying to penetrate through the middle, and that's going to be a relatively simple defensive posture for Indy 11 to just clean that up. Get that ball wide, create some space, make those runs behind the undefended space and behind the defenders. They have yet to do that. They've got so much talent up top, but they haven't quite found it yet.
Quinn got clattered into by Edrock. Restart coming for Indy. And again, Pittsburgh has had the better of it for the last, 15 minutes. But as we expected, I don't think there's going to be many scoring chances in this one. You have to convert on the one or two good looks you're going to get.
Right.
These two teams are too cagey, too veteran, too similar.
This is a midfield battle.
Yep. And these are two great midfields.
They are.
Two great midfields.
This is going to be a game that is going to be decided by who's in charge and who manages the midfield better, and that transition with support. You want numbers up when you're going forward. You want numbers up when you're going back on defense, and the team that can do that transition is going to have the advantage. But right now, this has been a midfield stalemate, and neither one has given an inch so far.
Mertz trying to find Barnes. Good job by McRobb. And McRobb wasn't getting many minutes until Aiden Stanley got hurt. He has now been solidly in the lineup ever since. Rendon's touch, not the best. Couldn't complete the short pass to Blake. Humbo will kind of hang around and he'll pick off a couple like that. Touch by Lindley. Cam, not afraid to verbalize what he thought was a foul and accentuate the contact to draw the whistle.
Veteran player understands that he did get hit there.
He may have a future in salesmanship, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, it's part of the game, is that little bit of embellishment, but I do believe he got clipped there just a tad. Made sure the referee knew it, and the referee agreed. So Cam wins.
I want to thank our friends at Hyatt Place and Hyatt House. Experience comfort in downtown Indy. Hyatt Place and Hyatt House in downtown Indianapolis.
One thing I see that the Indy 11 are doing really well, Greg, is communicating, especially Murphy, Lindley, Quinn. They're just communicating well. They're talking to each other. They're instructing. They're directing. Doing a real nice job in the midfield. They're just kind of keeping the tone and keeping the positivity on the field.
It was very interesting. The offside flag went up and then went back down. So you saw me raise my hand, but that was going to be called as an offside, and it was either call was changed, overturned, whatever the case may be. Possession continues for the Indy 11. Rendon the target. Just one goal this season, coming back on March 22nd in a 1-1 road draw at Lexington.
Great combo play.
Plays it across, just couldn't find that sliver of space. Murphy on the hold. And Rendon being asked to play the role that Malik Foster often does, that speed down the right side. Foster got hurt right before the Birmingham match. He'll likely come in as a sub tonight. Corner kick coming for the Indy 11 here in minute number 35.
Rendon's got that size factor as well. He's intimidating when he gets the ball one-on-one. And you see Blake starting to make some check back runs, into Rondon. Little nice combination play they had there a minute ago. That's the kind of stuff that Indy 11 needs to do. Create those opportunities. Play one touch, play two touch, find the space, send it across. They did that very well, and now they're rewarded with a corner kick. See if they can keep that up. But that looked really nice.
It's Murphy that will send it in. Bending ball in. Eric Dick the punch. Quinn had an opening there, but could not steer it on frame.
Tough ball to hit. Tries to hit it on the half volley. The ball is spinning, and he just kind of takes it off the outside of the left foot as you watch here. Nice service. Comes in. Dick comes up, puts the ball, and just hits it with the outside of his left foot on a half volley. Very difficult ball to hit, but the effort was there. He had a clean look. That's not easy. Those balls are not easy to hit.
Mertz, good turn against Afemu. Walty, Murphy, Williams off. Good job to hold the high line by the Indy 11.
I think Pittsburgh, that's what they need to have. They need Walty to come through. He's playing in the back a little bit. He's playing defensive mid, but getting him through, getting him more in support of the attack, I think is going to help him. And when you see him doing that, what he just did there, you can see that he's going to create danger because he's going to draw another defender into him, and he's going to be able to either distribute the ball or go 1v1. So Walty getting more involved in the attack is going to be a benefit to Pittsburgh.
Be sure to join us every Saturday morning for Soccer Saturday on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. This week on the show, we talked to both goalkeepers of tonight's match, Hunter Solt and Eric Dick. Chris Schumarth of Indianapolis Monthly about his night with the Brickyard Battalion. And, of course, Indy 11 head coach Sean McCauley. You'll find the podcast, anchor.fm/Indy-11. Amo gives chase. Gets around Vactor. Played to the side by the native of Paris, France, that played collegiately at UConn.
Amo hasn't had many touches tonight. Need to try to get the ball to his feet a little bit more, get him more involved.
Lindley.
Good movement.
Finds McRobb. Quinn, well defended by Mertz. Again, strength v strength there. Throw in coming for the Indy 11.
Nice movement by Indy 11. Changing that point of attack, keeping possession, playing the feet. Looks good.
Lindley trying to slide it through to McRobb. Ball eventually finds Murphy. Murphy was looking for Rendon, couldn't get it to him. Rendon again. Played briefly away by Biasi. Blake. Good work by Amo.
Great pressure.
Just not much in the way of room against either side right now.
Pittsburgh doing a nice job of closing it down, but Indy 11 continues to create, getting more opportunities here. Musa with a long throw coming up.
Famu, one of his targets at the edge of the 6. Pounding ball, three-headed away. McRobb couldn't line it up, but not done yet. Quinn recycles back post. Hogan was a target. Could not get there. Goal kick coming for Pittsburgh.
Good effort. Great restart. Nice long throw. A little pinball in there inside the box, and those are the kind of balls you just want to pounce on. McRobb tried to get a piece of it, just missed it. See it here, bouncing far post. McRobb tries to get a piece of it, just missed it here. But serving it back in, that's a nice ball. And that just almost got a piece of that on the other end of it. But that's a nice play.
Indy 11 Soccer, sponsored by Johnson Controls, the power behind your mission. Good touch to find Rendon. Rendon couldn't keep it at his feet. Walty just slows him up, and Ofemu makes him play it sideways. Throw in coming for Pittsburgh. If you're Sean McCauley, how you feel about this one right now, Dan?
Pretty good. I mean, last 10, 15 minutes has pretty much been all Indy 11. They've maintained possession. They're continuing to attack. They haven't got a quality shot on goal. That's the only thing they haven't done, but they have maintained possession. I think you should feel pretty good about this. They're not giving up anything silly. They're not giving up any great scoring opportunities. That ball there, that's a cupcake for the defense. So I feel pretty good that he would feel pretty positive about it. Just got to get that final ball, that final third.
Final 5 minutes plus stoppage time of half number 1, brought to us by your Central Indiana Ford dealers. Proud sponsor of Indy 11 Soccer. Visit your local Ford dealer day for great deals on your favorite Ford vehicle. Chances, frankly, have been at a minimum for both teams. Here's Biasi. Mertz. Player down behind the play is Augie Williams. Augie gets back up into the mix.
He's been down a couple times tonight.
Ofemu with the defense. Frankly, it's been allowed to be physical going in both directions. There's a player down behind the play for Pittsburgh. And we'll stop right here. The ball is at a stopping point. I believe that is Guillaume Vactor that is the player that is down.
Didn't see what happened.
But there's, frankly, been a minimal number of whistles so far in this match. And I don't think that either of these teams, frankly, shy away from physicality.
Oh, no. No, I mean, it's not. This has been a pretty clean game. I mean, they're not playing dirty. They're not playing, any intention. But this is a physical game. And players go down. It looks like they're checking his head. Can't really tell here.
We'll take a look at it, see if we got it kind of off camera. And just kind of
got stood up there, and maybe a little whiplash in the neck area. Yeah.
Right into the shoulder of Rendon.
Yeah. Wow.
And I don't think Rendon leaned into him in any way.
No, he was just standing him up. That wasn't the foul in a sense, but he did take a pretty good hit. Looks like he's maybe cut in the mouth.
Will be Pittsburgh getting a restart here. And this will add some additional time, but to go back to that previous statement, without many whistles, not a lot of added time going to happen here at the end of half number 1. Vactor is now up. From Paris, played at UConn. This team tends to have more first-year pros and college players than a lot of other teams do around the league. McGowan Insurance Group and Auto Owners Insurance, they have teamed up to make tailored insurance policies for your family.
Injuries like this, you hate to see anybody get hit in the face or in the head area, but it also serves as a little bit of a breather strategically for everybody on the field. Catch your breath. Last few minutes of the first half. Legs are getting heavy. The humidity is clear and strong.
Vactor waved back in.
Good to see him back on the field.
Williams the target. Salt ends up retreating to allow Williams to field at the edge of the 18. Could not slide it past Ofemu. Good help by Rendon. Nothing there as Augie takes a tumble.
Great D by Ofemu there. Stayed disciplined, patient.
Lindley, just enough of a nudge to throw Griffin off the ball. Or Mertz, excuse me. Mertz. Those spaces have just not opened up for either side just yet.
Indy
Look
11
towards the
doing
fourth
a nice
official.
job.
3 minutes is what we'll have. And again, frankly, the long ball for Pittsburgh has not worked.
And they continue to do it, which is kind of really, shocking because it's not working. You want to change that up a little bit and look for feet. And they have shown the ability to maintain possession and get that ball inside, but they have not found a quality opportunity, and they continue to just give the ball away.
I can tell you this much. These two have played to 0-0 before. They played to 1-0 before.
Yep.
There's been a lot of halves between these two that have looked very similar to the one that you are seeing here.
And we predicted this before the game. It was going to be a very tight, low-scoring game. So nothing surprising there.
Edrock with the back heel. Couldn't maintain possession, but no damage done. Moose's touch a bit ambitious, but it does find Murphy. Rendon's got some space if Indy can find a window to get it to him. Amo. Blake widens out. Afemu joins the mix. Rendon. Lindley off of Walty. Musa ambles over. There's Perrin Barnes. There's been possession around the 18.
Yep.
A minimal amount of it inside of the 18.
Very little. Both teams defensively have been very disciplined. Done a good job of keeping their shape.
A slip here gives an opportunity.
Nice transition.
McRobb, Quinn. Blake right, McRobb left. Quinn finds Blake. Blake a touch, a second touch, a third touch, a deflection, back of the net. It is time to cue the smoke in Indianapolis in the 48th minute. Blake gets the goal. Indy's got a 1-0 lead.
All right, here we go.
Again, it's a fortunate break for the Indy 11. Perrin Barnes just blew a tire, and that led to numbers going the other way. Great control over by Blake to get the goal.
In the midfield zone, and as this was happening, said, wow, nice transition coming here. And Blake does a great job of settling this ball and very simply changing direction. Watch what he does here. Here's the slip, and McRobb is off to the races and taking advantage of the space, takes a look, and then this ball comes over to Blake, and he just takes a quick touch here, and beautiful finish. Got a little bit of a deflection, but the opportunity was there. Great finish by Blake.
It was off of Suber. It was Suber where it took a deflecting turn. But Blake will get credit for the goal. It's his third of the season.
He's had a nice half. He's not gotten the ball as often as he probably would like. But boy, when he does, he makes you pay for it. And he certainly did there.
Just a reminder, fans, Indy 11 Soccer is sponsored by Dormicaba. Dormicaba for every place that matters. How does that goal change the tenor of this game?
Well, late in the half, it changes it a lot, Greg, specifically because the team that has scored first between these two teams has always won the game. So statistically, you want to talk about averages and statistics. It's a huge momentum builder going in the first half for Indy 11. And not deflating. There's 45 minutes left to play, but huge, huge momentum for Indy 11 at this point.
Walty and Afemu. No lack of strength between those two going at it. Dying embers of this half. One clearance should do it for Indy. And that'll be it. Well, as level as it could be, until one mistake changed the tenor of the match. A slip by Barnes. Indy capitalizes and pounces. Sean McCauley heading to an interview position to get his quick take before his team heads into halftime. Now with a 1-goal lead. Let's get it to Sean now. Opportunistic by your team. Well done, Sean. Your thoughts in the first 45 minutes?
Yeah, I thought we've moved the ball quite well, and obviously we've took a chance at the end there. You know, the set plays have been good for us. We had a couple of chances off them. I just think we probably need to have a little bit more pressure on the ball, you know, in terms of when they have it, and, you know, get our line of confrontation a little bit higher, you know, and try and not give them as much time on the ball to pick a longer pass out. But But overall, I think, we've controlled large parts of the game. We just, need to probably create a few more chances in the second half.
But your thoughts again, we saw you have a clean sheet against Birmingham 10 days ago. What is different defensively from what you're now seeing from your team these last couple of matches?
I would say that we've sort of sacrificed a little bit of, going forward in terms of every opportunity, trying to make it into a counter-attack game, and we've played a little bit more control and possession, and it's probably stopped us from creating as many chances, but it's probably given us a little bit more control in terms of not giving up too many as well. And there's a balance with that, because I do want to create more chances, and with that might come off some pressure that we're applying in the second half.
Coach, as always, thanks for the time. We'll talk to you after the match.
Thank you.
Head coach Sean McCauley of the Indy 11, kind enough to join us. Stay tuned at halftime. Highlights, stats, scores from around the league, and of course, news and notes. That Puppers always Pups the pitch night for the Indy 11. The goal by Blake. Peppa Pig says hello. 1-0. They lead the Riverhounds on Wish TV.
I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, but sometimes I get a little stressed because I'm not for sure what's going to happen down the road. I was at the cancer unit, and when I come out from seeing the doctor, I said something about needing some help with all the paperwork. They gave me a name and a phone number. Her name is Molly. She works over at Community. She tells me, stop worrying, let me take care of it. She is my angel. Stand by me.
Every place has a purpose, and the people who inhabit those places have their own reasons for being there. The last thing on their minds should be concerns about the safety of the places they are in. When it comes to security and safety for all the places that matter, Dormicaba offers a seamless flow of integrated solutions that allow people to move securely about their daily lives. Because the places that matter to you matter to us.
The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League.
A goal by Jack Blake in the 48th minute has given the Indy 11 a one-goal lead, and perhaps for a second time in as many matches, they will simply look to hold off Pittsburgh and pick up a 1-0 win and get their first home league win of the season. Greg Rakestraw, Dan Capsalis with you on CBS Sports Galazzo and Wish TV in Indianapolis, Sportsnet Pittsburgh in Western Pennsylvania as well. Time for a look at our USL Team of the Week. There's a couple of Indy 11 players that are a part of it, and clearly Pittsburgh is well represented as well. You see Robbie Birch, you see Perrin Barnes, you see Romario Williams, you see Hunter Salt. Kyle Edwards on that from the game against the Indy 11 back on May 28th, and so Week 13 and 14 is a combo because there was USL Jägermeister Cup action that took place for a lot of the teams on May 31st, and you've got kind of some spread out dates that are a part of it. So again, 4 of the 11 players on that Team of the Week, ones you are seeing in action tonight. Let's also note, good to see Reese Buckmaster, formerly of Indiana University from the Fort Wayne area, formerly of the Indy 11, on that Team of the Week as well. We'll take this quick time out. We'll come back with more news and notes around the championship, highlights, scores, and more when we come back to Carroll Stadium at the break. It is Indy 11 1, Pittsburgh Riverhounds 0.
The summer of soccer is here with the Indy 11. And you've got the chance to win a getaway to Charleston, South Carolina. When you grab our Summer of Soccer ticket deal, you get 10 entries into the Summer of Soccer Getaway Sweepstakes for a chance at a trip or two with flights, hotels, and meals covered. All this while you get to have a blast with the boys in blue all summer. Get your tickets now at Indy11.com.
Wait, come back! Wait, come back, I need more help.
Take a long laugh, Annie. Take a long free.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it.
Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
How does Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water keep you in the game? We always source our water directly from the natural spring to fuel every body, no matter how you like to move it. So whether you're chasing your goals or just staying active this summer, make sure to stay hydrated with Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Always bottled at the natural spring source.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it, not a thing. And it was kinda everything.
Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
Oh my goodness! Forward Madison finds the equalizer late!
This inside, bang! Out in front, Westchester.
Week on USL All Access, the greatest striker to ever play in the USL Championship, Cameron Lancaster, joins us, and we will break down their midweek matchup against Rhode Island FC. Is the Player Shield even a race anymore? We're going to give you a look at who our front runners are and who's got a possible outside chance of chasing down those 3 horses, and an ode to our owners, our general managers, and our presidents. Pay attention. The future is now.
Jack Blake's 3rd goal of the season has given Indy 11 a 1-goal lead here at halftime. Greg Regstrom, Dan Capsalis with you. News and notes around the USL Championship are presented by our friends at Best Western. Congratulations. Setting a transfer record, Louis. Which is not that far away. Stats, highlights, and Dan Capsalis returns when we come back. You're watching Indy 11 Soccer on Wish TV and the CBS Sports Golazo Network.
The main part of my job is definitely listening. People deserve transparency. I don't want the financial part to be something that stops or hinders a patient from having the health care that they need. I try to treat each person like they're my mom or my grandmother, my daughter, my husband. I want them to know that they're not just another phone call for us. And it's very rewarding to know that I can provide peace of mind.
Stand by me.
This is Paul. He loves running, music, and DIY home projects. In fact, he's remodeling his kitchen thanks to a home equity line of credit from Indiana Members Credit Union. They connected him with a loan officer, got him approved at a great low rate, and made it easy for him to make his monthly payment from anywhere thanks to IMCU's digital banking. Looks like Paul can do it all with a little help from IMCU.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
Our team at Security Federal Savings Bank welcomes you to our newest location, our West Carmel branch on Michigan Road, here to serve you. All the services you expect from a premier bank, personal and business banking, wealth management, trust services, and much more. The Security Federal Savings Bank branch team offers the expertise and knowledge you want and expect. Security Federal Savings Bank, proud of our team and our newest West Carmel location.
The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League.
A look at the state capitol, which is not far away from our current location on the campus of IU Indianapolis. Indy 11-1, Pittsburgh Riverhounds 0. And Greg Rakestraw, Dan Capsalis with you. We'll get to the highlights in a matter of moments. Dan, your thoughts on the opening 45 minutes of play?
Well, I'll tell you what, Pittsburgh has played very predictably down the middle, and kind of shocking that they haven't changed it up a little bit. They're not connecting with their top three guys, so I think it was a rather lacking performance by Pittsburgh. On the other hand, the things that we talked about before the game started, Greg, was Indy 11 needed to keep their defensive shape. They've done that very well and not allowed any penetration, and they're winning the midfield. We talked about managing the midfield. Indy 11 is winning the midfield, and they were rewarded with that transition in midfield on that first goal.
Let's get to our highlights again from half number one. The goal coming very late, frankly. Again, very even keel defensive effort from both teams. Again, one kind of truly great goal-scoring chance. Here it was, and it never got to Hunter Salt because of Patrick Hogan trying to slow down his old team.
Yeah, Hogan does a great job tracking the play. That ball looking like it's going to the far post, but that was the best chance Pittsburgh's had.
That was the first real chance for the Indy 11. Ball could not get through it again. There's been 8 and 9 behind the ball going in both directions throughout the course of this evening.
Another nice ball just popped in, just couldn't get on the other end of it. And here's the goal.
And Barnes takes a tumble. And with that, quickly finds Aiden Quinn, who finds Jack Blake, who finds the back of the net.
Yeah, great touch here by Blake. Left foot, one touch, and beats Dick on the side. He got a little bit of a tip there off of Suber, but that's why you shoot the ball. You never know what's going to happen, and Blake took advantage there, and Indy 11's in charge at this point.
By the way, a second substitution for Pittsburgh. Charles All will come in. He is going to replace Bradley Sample. So already 2 subs have been used for the Riverhounds, and our substitutions brought to us by Morales Group Staffing, offering flexibility in both staffing and operational efficiencies. So the Indy 11
ready to go, all getting just his 4th match of the season. He has played a total of 71 minutes as all. Young man from Florida. Played for one of the schools that has one of the best, unique mascots in Division I sports.
What's that?
The Hatters of Stetson University.
The Hatters of Stetson. I think I have several Stetson hats.
Stetson's campus also
classic stuff.
The home of a great movie that no one would know was filmed there.
Which is?
Which would be, that was the home of the SC LSU Mud Dogs in The Waterboy.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. The statistics,
cleaned up the stadium since that time.
The trivial information you have in your brain is astonishing.
Usually we save that. Well, it's all useless. Usually we save that for like 3-0 matches.
Yeah.
We'll slide it in a competitive 1-0 match here.
Well, I like the Indy 11's approach coming into the second half, coming up 1-0 late in the first half, give them confidence. Pittsburgh has to attack. They're down a goal. They got 44 minutes to go in this game. They have to attack. They have to potentially leave themselves vulnerable. If they do that, Indy 11 could have a quick transition and take advantage of that. So we'll see how this plays out. But Pittsburgh has to attack, and I think that they would be much better aligned if they start attacking outside and using the width, which they have yet to do. So we'll see what kind of a strategy Coach Lilly has for them. But right now, Indy 11 is in charge and looking to hang on. Again, we note that Pittsburgh has never won a game when they've been down at halftime.
Williams, the settling touch.
I shouldn't say never won a game. This season, they haven't won a game when they've been down at halftime.
Good catch by you. Amo applying pressure. Eric Dick did not handle it of his best, but good enough for now. McRobb will look for a teammate, not his own number. Plays it in, and I think Quinn was the target. And again, let's acknowledge McRobb is being asked to play a little out of position. There was really no kind of natural left back to fill the shoes of Stanley. McRobb was the guy that has, again, taken advantage of the opportunity, and he's been really solid.
And you see him there, Greg. Losing Stanley is hard, because one thing that Stanley did so well was attack from the back on the outside and get deep into the attacking third for Indy 11. And McRobb has, like you said, taken on this role and playing a little bit out of position, but he's been able to do that, and he comes through kind of unmarked, and he notices that. Smart player, opportunistic player, and he's done a nice job stepping into that role.
From Scotland, joining players like Nicky Patterson and Cammy Smith, that are Scotsmen that have played for the Indy 11. Not to mention former head coach Martin Rennie, who had a chance to catch up with via text message this week. These days, Martin, the women's assistant coach at Notre Dame.
Met with him last week. We had lunch. He's got some new ideas going on with the. He's in charge of the MLS Next program with Who's Your Premier, and he's assistant coach at Notre Dame. Really enjoyed catching up with Martin last week.
Martin was always an inquisitive type of fellow.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's got new ideas is not a surprise to me. Man that has coached the most games in the history of the Indy 11, coached 99 of them. Who was the last team he coached against?
Really,
Pittsburgh Riverhounds in June of 2020.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
Really enjoyed my time with him.
Quinn, the tight turn. Again, McRobb gives chase Barnes. Barnes is a great story. Barnes played in the NPSL last year and won his way to the Riverhounds via a tryout. He's a couple years removed from playing for our buddy Paul Snape at Butler. My guess is if Paul isn't here, he is taking an interest in this match tonight with both Eric Dick and Perrin Barnes competing against the Indy 11. Of course, numerous Butler players have played for the Indy 11.
It's fun to see those local players coming into this level, and even though they're on opposite sides tonight.
And if you want to look at things from a league-wide perspective, Andy Cabrera, who is setting the world on fire for El Paso, Butler Bulldog.
Jared Timmer, Sacramento Republic, longtime here. Butler Bulldog. Gives you an idea as to the caliber that program has been under Paul's leadership.
It's fantastic.
Rendon could not steer the opposing Pittsburgh player off the ball. Of course, this match is brought to us by Community Health Network Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. Exceptional care simply delivered. And Hunter Salt calls off Hogan. He did not have a clean sheet in either appearance against Pittsburgh last year. Danny Griffin scored both goals for Pittsburgh a season ago against Indy.
Griffin's been quiet tonight, Greg.
Here's Edrock. That's good for the Indy 11, frankly.
Yeah, he there's still a lot of time, and typical strikers kind of disappear, and then they show up at the last minute. Baggio was famous for that, but he's been very, very quiet tonight.
Handball is the call. Ball goes to the Indy 11. By the way, quality 1994 World Cup reference by you. Dropping Baggio.
That was 1994.
That was not lost on me.
Yeah.
Indy 11 Soccer is sponsored by Johnson Controls, the power behind your mission. And no, I could not grow my hair in the back the way that you did. Maybe you could back then.
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, back in the day, for sure. But not anymore. No, there's a lot of it's a famous striker thing where they just kind of all of a sudden disappear, and then boom, they explode with just within minutes, and they just take the game over.
Quinn around Suber. First touch was the one he wanted, but holds it up for Amo. Murphy with space. Murphy gives it a hit, and that thing hit a wind current.
Yeah, he had it sized up though. It's a right decision. Just didn't execute it properly. Hits it with the outside of his foot a little bit, and spins it right. But the idea here, he's got space. He takes a look and just slices it a little bit off, obviously off target. But right decision, needs better execution.
Murphy does not do that often. That is literally his 6th shot of the season. And in USL Championship play, this is the 953rd minute. You want to guess how many he's played so far, Dan? 953. He has played every minute of every match.
Amazing.
He and Musa are the two field players that have done that. Blake is down, and with that, we'll pause.
They collided heads.
Yeah, he and Walty knocked noggins.
Yeah, you can see both of them. God, you hate to see that.
Josh Frankel waved on for the Indy 11, the head athletic trainer.
You see Walty there with tremendous sportsmanship. It was incidental contact, and he recognizes that. And
well, these two teams get after it, but there is great respect for the other side.
They're both going up here, and Walty comes from behind and just kind of hits him on the side of the right head there. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it's a clear. They're going for the ball. It's not intentional.
Yeah, no.
It's going for the ball, but there's clear contact there, and that is, boy, those can be really, really challenging.
That is a foul and nothing more. Indy has their full cadre of substitutions available to them. Elliot Collier, Edward Chiza, Malik Foster, Hayden White, amongst those all loosening. Brem Sumero also available tonight.
Because the trainer comes on.
Because of a couple of different injuries.
Yeah, because the trainer comes on. He's got to come off the field, get checked. They got to be really careful when it's ahead because, the concussions happen so quickly, and trainers do a great job of making sure they're okay.
Josh O'Brien down there as well in terms of field players for the Indy 11. Josh scored a goal against Pittsburgh last year. Sebastian Guenzada the other in the 2-1 victory, and the simplest of passes wasn't that simple for the Indy 11 there. Hogan, another good read. Kept Griffin away from that one.
Yeah, that long ball is just not working for Pittsburgh, and they continue to do it, and Indy 11 is just eating it up. Rightly so.
Where Indy has had problems as Quinn gets a touch to get around a defender. He's got Blake making the run. Quinn trying to find a seam, bending ball. Barnes got in the way. Quinn will wisely let this ball trickle across the byline from the 11 corner. To finish that thought as Indy gets set for the corner. When they have taken leads, they've had trouble holding them. To their credit, when they have gotten behind, they have often clawed their way back to find points. But again, is Birmingham from 10 days ago the roadmap for this team? trying to give themselves a 2-goal cushion here.
They came into this game with confidence, like we talked about, Greg, before the game, and they're holding on to that right now.
Murphy, edge of the 6, all the way through one time, and Blake nearly exits the building on that one.
Tough ball to hit. Again, it's a volley. Takes it with his left foot. You can see his toe come up on the technique. He didn't keep his toe down, and he hit the ball as it was a little bit higher up. You want that ball to drop a little bit, keep your toe down, and get that little bit rainbow effect of the ball on the shot. He just got underneath that a little bit.
That's going to be a throw for the Indy 11. And again, I think Merckx thought there was a touch there, and I didn't see it, and neither did our official. Indy 11 Soccer is brought to us by the Morales Group, offering flexibility in both staffing and operational efficiency, while driving results to your bottom line, increasing productivity and reducing labor costs. Throw-in coming here for Pittsburgh. 16th all-time meeting between these two teams. Indy has won 5, Pittsburgh has won 6. There have been 4 draws. See John Bush, they're 2 seats down from Bob Lilly. Had a chance to give a wave to Bushy before the broadcast. One of the all-time Indy 11 greats. He finished his career with the Indy 11 in 2016 and 2017. What a career he had. Undersized in terms of height, not in talent, heart, or IQ. And none of us are stunned that he is in coaching now that his playing days are over with in Salt. Would only have John Bush by about 9 inches in terms of height.
Yeah.
Able to amble out and get that ball. It would literally be the long and short of it in terms of Indy 11 goalkeepers over the years.
Salt's done a nice job tonight. He hasn't had to come up big, but he's doing everything routine, simple, keeping his defense organized.
Blake. Can Rendon split the defense? Well, he can when he grabs the shoulder of Biasi. Foul against the Indy 11.
Clear foul, but not a bad play, not a good thought. I mean, not a bad thought. We had a little bit of a breakout play there. He's got the speed. Defender did a nice job getting in his way and took him down, got the foul. Pittsburgh at some point, Greg, is going to have to start throwing guys forward, trying to get more numbers into the attack. They have yet to do that. Indy 11 has done a great job of keeping numbers in the back, staying disciplined, keeping their form, keeping their shape.
Blake a bit hobbled in the middle of the park, but he's up now. What a touch by Quinn. Again, Suber should get back to that and deem that Amo was in an offside position.
Quinn's having a great game tonight. I mean, he's just working so hard. He's involved in the plays. He's attacking. He's defending.
Well, I would edit that to say that, Quinn's having himself a great career. Because we said it's about every night for 12 years in this league.
He's just so consistent. He's just one of those players that you can just rely on all the time. It doesn't seem to have off days. Consummate professional, consummate team player.
Flags down. Blake is onside. Blake lines it up. Great hustle by Biasi. I'm not sure if Jack recognized that Biasi was there. What turned into an opportunity turns into nothing for the Indy 11. Fans, you can show your Indy 11 pride. Get your exclusive IMCU Indy 11 debit card at any IMCU branch or online now at imcu.com. That was pure hustle by Biasi to get back.
No question. It looked like it was offside at the beginning of that play, but linesman was on it.
That flag never flinched off his hip. You and I both have done this long enough. You see a player on that kind of a run, you look for the gentleman or lady on the other side of the touchline first, and the flag never went up. That'll be deemed to be a foul against Quinn. Restart coming here. Again, folks, we have not seen anything that has approached a yellow card in this match. It has been physical. It has been fair. It's allowed to be physical. I think this has been a very well-called match by Alyssa Nichols.
Absolutely agree, 100%, Greg. She's kept control of the game. She's managed the players well. Her positioning has been fantastic, which is a pet peeve for a lot of coaches. And referees not in position to make calls. She's done a really nice job tonight.
Quinn, an inadvertent left hook that time was the reason for the go to the judge's scorecard to see if it landed at the end of the round. Williams the target. Hogan in retreat mode. Griffin hanging around the ball. Musa gets a piece. Afemu gets the rest. And now Lindley trying to launch for the Indy 11, but inadvertently plays that off of Jack Blake. Here's Barnes getting his 7th start of the season as a first-year pro. Thank those who are joining us on CBS Sports Galazzo. Indy 11 fans, the match against Las Vegas will also be a Galazzo match next Saturday. Flag goes up. Williams was off. I want to say hello to those of you watching us in Western Pennsylvania and points beyond on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. Thanks for spending part of your Saturday night with us, and of course our audience in Indianapolis on Wish TV. Alongside Dan Capsalis, my name is Greg Rakestraw. This has been what Indy and Pittsburgh has been since these two teams became rivals in 2018. Riverhounds, in terms of teams outside of Major League Soccer, there are few that have their history. In fact, only the Richmond Kickers and the Charleston Battery have been around longer than the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, who began playing in 1999, or as Dan and I call it, when we had hair.
Long time ago.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, they've got great history, Greg, and great tradition.
Riverhounds were the last team standing, much as it was the Indy 11 last year, albeit a couple of rounds different. Riverhounds, the only team from the championship to be able to knock off an MLS side when they beat NYCFC in their home park. One of the featured matches on Paramount Plus in that round of 32. In fact, if the Indy 11 had beaten the Philadelphia Union, these two would have seen each other in the Open Cup. Player takes a stumble behind the play. Griffin keeps it in play. Not out of danger yet, not by a long shot. Barnes races up. McRobb gets there. Edrock doesn't do much with it. Amo does just enough.
Amo does a nice job there, retreating and getting back from the attack and jumping into that play. Totally blindsided Pittsburgh player there before he get the shot off. Amo does a nice job of just, getting back. They want numbers behind the ball. That's what you want defensively. Pittsburgh has yet to figure out how to get numbers up in the offensive third. That's all about transition, speed of transition.
McRobb, well done. Amo, the flick. The fact that that ball crossed the midfield stripe, that was the win on the touch by McRobb. Finding a teammate was a bonus. Just get yourself out of pressure, give yourself a chance to get your heart rate down and get reset. High line being played here by the Indy 11, trying to compact the field against the Hounds. Pounding ball that Factor tracks him before Blake can get there. Pittsburgh has used 2 subs already. Indy has their full complement of 5. Edrock. Good looking turn here for the Florida native. Mertz was the target. Musa with the read. And the header back to Eric Dick and handles it rather easily. He got rid of the ball as if it was singeing his hands as he approached the 18-yard box.
Quick. Pittsburgh's trying to, again, they're doing a little bit better job of keeping possession to feet, but it's so congested in and around the offensive third and the top of the 18. They're just not having any room because Indy 11's doing a great job of closing down that space, and they just have not had the opportunity to get a quality shot off, and that's testimonial to Indy 11's shape and discipline and pressure defensively.
Well, Dan, if you are dealing with congestion, you should visit Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered. Edward Chizza, Malik Foster heading towards the bench. They'll be the first couple of subs for the Indy 11. Hogan will simply nod this one back to Hunter Salt. On the hustle point, Salt did what he could. Griffin using that speed. Ball kept in play. Everybody resets for the Indy 11. Aaron Barnes. Barnes, ball in. Afemu does just enough. Walty was lurking. Back post. And Biasi will let it cross the touchline for a throw in. And That was nearly calamity corner for the Indy 11.
Got a little bit in no man's land there because you can head the ball back to the goalkeeper, but the ball was a little bit lower, and there was a lack of decision there that caused a little bit of confusion between Salt and the defender. Just escaped a really disastrous play there and putting the ball in the open net.
Williams the touch. Hogan with him step for step, and they're going to get Augie for a jersey tug. That'll draw a Bronx level of cheer from the BYB after cheering for Augie a season ago. Augie had 10 goals, 5 of those coming against Miami, including a hat trick late in the season. But Augie went on a tear in the Open Cup. We mentioned that Pittsburgh was the best team this year in the Open Cup for the championship. Last year it was the Indy 11 making the semifinals, and Indy doesn't have that progress if Augie Williams didn't go off in that tournament for the Indy 11.
He's capable, that's for sure.
One of the all-time greats in terms of the goal-scoring total in our league. So 3 substitutions for the Indy 11 once they make it to the 4th official. 77 career goals for Augie Williams. 10th year of being in the league. He's in the top 5 in terms of all-time goal scorers. The deflection on the pressure. Quinn maybe trying to size one up. Just behind Lindley. Now it's 3v3 here for Pittsburgh. Mertz charging forward. Griffin to his right. Griffin, the touch. Ball takes a turn. And Lindley very calmly finds Amo and sends it all the way back to Eric Dick. Now all will play it back to Super. The USL on CBS Sports Network. We got a League One matchup for you next Wednesday night when Forward Madison takes on newcomer Westchester SC, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Catch the action next Wednesday at 8 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. There was Williams, and there was the Indy 11. Benefemu got the job done. It will be a corner coming here for the Riverhounds.
And you're seeing Pittsburgh here just putting on a little bit more pressure. They know there's a little sense of urgency in their play, and they're starting to come alive up top. And they got to be Indy 11's got to be careful because they're making runs, they're getting balls dropped in, and they're getting opportunities.
That's why there are 3 sets of fresh legs standing by the 4th official.
I think that's a good move by Coach McCauley here to get some new players on the field. White and Chizza, Foster coming in.
Mertz sends it in. Ball goes all the way to Murphy. And Lindley will just blast that ball right back to the 4th official.
One thing, Greg, at halftime that Coach McCauley talked about was having a higher line of contention and pushing it up a little bit. They haven't been able to do that as well this half, and Riverhounds are starting to come alive here.
Elvis Amo done for the night, and where Chizza comes on to replace him. Chizza last scored against El Paso back on May 16th. Jack Blake is done for the night. Malik Foster will replace him, and Finn McRobb. He'll exchange spots with Hayden White. All of our substitutions brought to us by the Morales Group. Morales Group Staffing, offering flexibility in both staffing and operational efficiencies.
I think it's a good move here by Coach McCauley.
Bit of a miscommunication there. They're going to flip sides of the field for Rendon. Hayden White is a natural right back, so they put him on the far side. Rendon immediately gets tied up with Perrin Barnes and will just give him a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander-like nudge to make sure that
that's a perfectly legal play. It's an easy shield. When the ball's in front of you, you can shield the ball like that. Use your shoulder a little bit.
Apparently, it's a perfectly legal play in the NBA as well.
Yeah, apparently.
Not that we might view it differently in Indianapolis. Just throwing it out there for conversation. 2 subs left for the Indy 11. 3 remain for the Riverhounds. Giveaway here by Murphy. But nobody home. Williams, the player closest to it. In the clean sheet last Wednesday was the first in league play this year for Hunter. Did have one in the Open Cup against Forward Madison. By the way, for Indy, they returned to Jägermeister Cup play when the Birmingham Legion come right back here in 2 Saturdays. We mentioned Westchester gets an appearance on CBS Sports Network. That is the next opponent for Pittsburgh in their group. Indy has won both of their matches in Jägermeister Cup play so far. Lindley, Foster.
Good luck
Foster awaiting Hayden White. White blocked. Biasi. Nothing comes of the opportunity for the Indy 11 just yet. Hogan hustling, trying to keep it in play, but he'll be successful. Williams plays it to space. Musa, what a tackle.
Beautiful.
Rendon, can he get there? Nope, Eric Dick has that covered.
Just timed that perfectly. You know, those can be dangerous. You get going and cleats up, and he got all ball, clean. Like to see Foster get 1v1 with his speed as the Pittsburgh defenders are, legs are getting a little bit heavy and a little bit winded. Foster has that explosive speed for Indy 11. Love to see him get into a 1v1 situation.
It is a mismatch when everybody's on level footing. When he's got 70 less minutes on his feet,
no
look
question.
out.
Absolutely. Let's see if Indy 11 can connect with him and put him in a position to make something happen. But with his quickness and speed and the amount of rest he's had tonight, could be a huge advantage for Indy 11. And Chizza as well. Chizza's fresh.
And much like Pat Hogan, he's motivated against his former team. He had a great experience in Pittsburgh, but was a very early season free agent signing for the Indy 11. And that is going to be Indy 11 ball. Edrak hit that on the way down. Best of both worlds for the Indy 11.
What a tackle by Musa minutes ago. Those are the kind of plays, Greg, that change the game. Those are the kind of plays where you're winning 50-50 balls and you're not letting anything get through, and it motivates and just drives confidence into the rest of the team. It's not just a tackle winning a ball. It's a game-changing play.
The veteran who was really a spare piece for the Indy 11 last year. That took a turn. Corner kick coming for the Indy 11. Musa was acquired late June, then played against Rhode Island, got hurt. We didn't see him much until later in the year. Has this massive goal to beat Loudoun United in early October that unofficially really clinched a playoff spot for the 11. And now you can't pull him out of the lineup. Again, He has played every minute of every match.
He's been fantastic. Steady, like Quinn. Steady, consistent, reliable, disciplined.
Like Quinn as well.
Yeah, just professional. Just wonderful to watch.
Bending ball in. Moose a potential target. White does have one goal this year on this field in Open Cup play. It was the game winner against Miami on April the 16th. Indy now will reset. Defenders rotate back. Rendon, a flick, but no traffic in front of Eric Dick. No problem for last year's Golden Glove winner. This portion of the match is brought to us by the Denny Companies. The Denny Companies, tearing down the past so you can build the future. Indy protected a one-goal lead from the 4th minute on against Birmingham. 10 days ago, their last match. By the way, this past weekend was the last off weekend of the season for the Indy 11. Cut back by Edrak. Edrak plays it across. All kinds of real estate there. That ball could not find a teammate. That was a heck of a play by Edrak.
Taking it off the end line there. He actually hit it too hard, I think. It didn't have the attacker on the far post didn't have time to react because he looked like he took a shot as opposed to making a pass. It was the right idea.
Again, opportunity here. Doesn't get through. Waltie's blast also doesn't get through. Normally, Aiden Quinn is in charge of goal creation. That time it was goal prevention. Corner coming for the Hounds.
Right place, right time. He sees it coming at his head. Got a chance to turn his back and goes off his back. But nice play by Pittsburgh here. They're penetrating. They're getting this a really good look and Quinn just gets in front of that thing and redirects it. Great defensive play.
When you do right place, right time all the time,
yeah,
kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's on purpose, right? It's on purpose, but great heads-up play. But that was a really, really good look for Pittsburgh. They've had a couple good looks here in the last couple of minutes, and they have no choice. They have to go forward. They have to press. They have to push. So Indy 11's got to stay disciplined defensively. Make sure they keep their formation. Make sure they're communicating to each other.
Brem Sumuro. We saw a lot of him at the end of last season. Has not played much this year. He's about to come in. Be the next sub going to the fourth official for the Indy 11. First, another corner brought to us by Robbie Mertz. Short one of Famu. Hogan. Not out of danger just yet. Now Murphy trying to find Foster in space. That's never a bad play. Barnes is there. Foster can close the gap quickly, but Eric Dick was not bothered at all.
Ball was led just a little too much for Foster, but boy, he had some movement going.
Quinn trying to play Foster into space. Let him use that speed. Well done by Barnes. It will be a throw-in, though, for the Indy 11.
Good defensive play. Foster's such a difficult player to contain and stay with. You've got to make sure you give yourself a little bit of space in order to keep up with him, and Barnes does a great job there containing him.
Let's get to the substitution here. Brem Sumuro going to make his second league appearance of the season. The first was just 10 days ago. Played for 13 minutes. Substitutions brought to us by Morales Group Staffing, offering flexibility in both staffing and operational efficiencies. Again, Brem was brought in. He, Malik Foster, Hayden White all got here kind of at the end of August last year. And those guys rarely left the lineup once they got here. Sumuro, born in Guinea. Spent time in the Netherlands, Italy, and Canada, and played the Canadian Premier League before making his way to the Indy 11. He'll be used to try to close this match out.
Again, I like that sub, Greg. Keeping the fresh legs in the midfield. That's where this game's going to be won or lost in transition. So Coach McCauley making a very tactical, strategic move there and getting fresh legs in the midfield.
This reminder, the Summer of Soccer, presented by Indy Roof and Restoration, runs through July 12th. Follow Indy 11 on social media to learn more about how you can take part in the Summer of Soccer promotion. Have a chance of an all-expense-paid trip to Charleston, South Carolina. Battery are awfully good this year. No foul given. And there's simply a different bar that happens inside of the 18, and that was not worthy of the whistle, said Alyssa Nichols. Salt. Weekend off last weekend. Hunter had the chance to go all the way back home, and for those that don't know, Anchorage, Alaska is home for Hunter. With some serious air miles he picked up in 4 or 5 days. Barnes got a shoulder to it. Rendon then got to him quickly. Lindley to Rendon, and again, my partner, as much of a soccer guy as he is, pretty big hockey guy as well. A lot of carryover for Pittsburgh fans and that too. Indy 11 practicing a little dump and chase right now. Just send it down the park.
What they're doing, yep.
3 substitutions, the remaining 3 to be used by Bob Lilly. All will make their way to the fourth official. Garcia, Etu, and Jacqueson all heading that direction. So we'll get those on the fly to you in the next time they enter.
They're having some success getting on the other end of that when they're dumping it in, but they're just trying to find something.
Chiza could not hold up Suber, being with the ball. Opportunity here. Suber looking for Edrock, but Edrock had just flattened out the run. Goal kick coming for the Indy 11.
That was a wasted opportunity by Pittsburgh. Had a clear player on the outside, served the ball in. Pittsburgh's making an effort. They're going to bring in some fresh subs here.
Well, of note, Jackson Walty will exit. First time he's been subbed out in a league match this year. Over 1,000 minutes played already, but he exits here.
That's amazing.
Luke Biasi going to be replaced by Jorge Garcia, getting his 7th appearance of the year. Junior Etu into the contest as well. All of our subs are brought to us by our friends at Morales Group Staffing. offering flexibility in both staffing and operational efficiencies.
Pittsburgh's used all their subs now. It's good tactic by Coach Lilly to, again, get some fresh legs in there and try to mix it up a little bit. They're pushing, they're creating some opportunities. They're not getting totally on the other end of the ball, the final third, but they have been penetrating a little bit more and getting opportunities. But Indy 11's defense has not faltered, and they have been able to handle everything that's come at them tonight.
Well, Dan, let's also note, and not surprisingly, now 2 up top for Pittsburgh. Williams has been operating by his lonesome up top, now chasing a point. 2 up top for the Hounds.
And we talked about it earlier. They're going to have to push guys forward because they're going to have to create more. So let's see what this combination does.
This match is brought to us by the Keystone Group, specializing in transmission developments, construction management, and investments. All done by Sumaru.
See a simple ball there by Cam Lindley. I just love the way Cam Lindley plays. His IQ is so high with this game and his vision. He's always looking for that outlet. And here's what he does differently than most players do. He knows what he's going to do with the ball before he gets it. That is what makes him so special and such an incredible player, Cam Lindley. Before he ever receives the ball, Greg, he's looking around and he knows he's only got 1 split second to do it. His distribution is on target. His decision-making is on target. It's just fun to watch. And if you're a kid out there watching this game, understanding that before you get the ball, you're not going to have a lot of time. You got to learn to make a decision, have an idea what you're going to do with that ball. Watch Cam Lindley, number 6, when he's got that ball, and you watch his decision-making. It's absolutely impressive, and he's so fun to watch.
Elliot Collier will be the final substitution of the match. He has made his way to Andy Swift and Phil Presser. He'll enter when given the opportunity. Collier has become the most used sub in Indy 11 history. And he's done so in really the span of 2 seasons, over 3 years with the Indy 11. Shizza, the target, couldn't get there. I mentioned Cam Lindley and something that kind of snuck up on us. Cam, when he played in Birmingham 10 days ago, that was his 90th appearance for the Indy 11. He's now up to 7th in club history. Foul called. It goes against Sumaro.
It's that level of consistency, Greg. It's not just the play tonight and the kind of discipline a player like Lindley has, but it's a level of consistency over time. It's a body of work. You know, it's not just 1 night or 2 nights. It's constant. It's years of consistency, and it's so impressive.
Griffin. Williams. It's across to section 113.
A little bit tough, hard on that one.
That is not Richie Ballard crossing it out of the stadium in Hamtramck.
Yeah, I think he was trying to cross it, but then he saw a young kid on the far sideline and in the stands and was...
Thought he needed a souvenir?
Just knocking the ball long. That was really poorly hit.
Elliot Collier will come in for Aiden Quinn again. As you likely know by now, our subs brought to us by the Morales Group and Morales Group Staffing, offering flexibility in both staffing and operational efficiencies.
Quinn had a great game. Another workhorse game, and the effort he put in and blocking shots and creating opportunities. Just what a class act. What a great player.
Your Central Indiana Ford dealer is a proud sponsor of Indy 11 Soccer. Visit your local Ford dealer today for great deals on your favorite Ford vehicle. Shizza going against the advice of Hayden White. He wanted him to flip it left side. Shizza stayed focused on going the opposite direction. Femu will track that down.
Now, interestingly enough, Pittsburgh has dropped Mertz a little bit. He's roving a little bit more, but he's playing in a more defensive posture. He's got some space where he's at, but he's playing a little bit more of a defensive posture.
Mertz is one of those guys, as long as he's on the field, he's dangerous.
Yeah,
and he'll be an absolute pro, and he's played that holding mid role over the years. He can kind of go where you want him to on the part.
But when Jacqueline came into the game, he's dropped off a little bit. He's great at supporting the attack. There's plenty of time in this game still for him to do some damage, and he's finding some space. Can Pittsburgh find him?
Edrock trying to slide it through. Hogan
nice.
Got in the way. Hogan. Collier just couldn't get there. No one coming here for Pittsburgh. And no goals scored in this half yet. Plenty of substitutions in terms of trying to do the computation for additional time once we get to 90 minutes played. And there has been a history of some late goals in this one. There was Mario Williams' strike on a set piece in the 93rd, 94th minute. Tyler Pasher in the 96th in the COVID-shortened season of 2020. On national TV, I think Mike Watts said the last letter of Pasher's name for about 15 seconds, just R at the end of it. Another errant ball in the attacking third by Pittsburgh. And as those that know Bob Lilly well know, he'll find something to harp on, drill on, and instill in his team. And most of those conversations in the locker room, they happen on the field after the match. And my guess is that's going to be the talking point.
Yeah, they're wasting balls. They're not serving quality balls. Indy 11's defense is not having any of it. They're just like, it's like catching pop flies out there. They're just knocking them back and breaking up the momentum and any attack that Pittsburgh has. They'd be much better served playing the feet, changing the point of attack, and then serving the ball from the outside as opposed to serving the ball from the middle of the field. Middle of the field is just not working for them, and it's not going to work for them against Indy 11 tonight.
Indy electing to go out and press, and it leads to a transitional opportunity. And Collier, for a player of his size, his feet are exquisite. Former MLS player with the Chicago Fire, now a veteran of many years in the championship. And a guy in terms of goals per minute was as good as any player in the league last year. There's one to be found late to make this a 2-goal lead. He is certainly capable of doing it. Foster offering a master class in time wasting, allowing Rendon to come take the throw in.
He dropped a nice job defensively there on Foster.
Given away by the Indy 11. Collier hoped for a whistle, but simply put, it's not been that night.
And this is the kind of game now, late in the game here, Greg, we saw a late goal in the first half for Indy 11. As your body gets tired, you got to make sure you keep your mind sharp. Don't let any mental mistakes change the outcome for Indy 11 here. They've got to stay focused. They've got to stay disciplined. They've got to keep their mental concentration on this game. As you get tired, that's difficult to do.
Ball sent in. Williams a touch. Williams just slides it wide. When you send a 6-7 man sprawling, you get everybody's attention.
Yeah.
Salt didn't get there. Turns out he didn't need to get there. And Augie trying to get one against his former club.
One of the best chances that Pittsburgh's had the entire night. He hits it with the outside of his left and just kind of slices it a bit. Didn't get a clean shot on it, but nonetheless, Salt was there, ready for it. And if that's one of the best opportunities that Indy 11's going to give up for Pittsburgh, that's pretty good.
Chiza, can he keep it in play? Yes. Doesn't need to. Throw in coming. Looking for the best deal in town? Check out the all-new Paps Blue Ribbon Deck next time you're at Carroll Stadium and enjoy $3 PBRs all game long. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com or the Indy 11 box office day of game. Paps Blue Ribbon, because you deserve a blue ribbon. Goal kick coming for the Hounds in minute number 90.
They've got to throw people forward. But again, not down the middle. Not going to work.
These two teams will see each other again on October the 11th. What Indy has in terms of home matches, so many Saturdays. In fact, they're at home 7 of 8 Saturdays from now until early August.
Yes.
You pay the piper at some point in time. October, they're home just one time in the month of October. And the team that's coming in here has their best team they've ever put together. That would be Loudoun United. Loudoun had the early start in the league tonight.
Well, this is it could be an extremely pivotal win for Indy 11, coming off a win last week with Birmingham. There's 2 in a row. They haven't done that all year. This would be their first home win. If they can extend that now, going into all these home matches, Greg, they could really start making a run. This could be the beginning of something that could be really, really impressive for Indy 11.
3 minutes left to go in the match. 3 minutes of additional time. By the way, speaking of 3, Loudon got 3. All 3 points and 3 goals. Beating Detroit City 3-2. It's all Eastern Conference versus Eastern Conference. Western Conference versus Western Conference. And this, kind of like that match, really kind of a 6-pointer between 2 teams within touching distance of each other in the Eastern Conference standings. Lindley finds Foster. Rendon trailing him. And Foster decides, it's becoming a bit of a cooler night. It's campfire time.
Go to the corner.
Foster.
See, his quickness is unbelievable.
Showing off his technical skills. That is, again, last off the Pittsburgh player, and Griffin offers no complaint about that. And Indy has won at home in Open Cup play, but you got to go back to last year for their last home victory in terms of championship play. Not completely a done deal yet. 2 minutes left in this one. And Indy has seen 3 points turned to 1 past the 90th minute once this season in this building. That was against North Carolina. That was back on April the 5th. Connor Donovan got the equalizing goal that night. Indy trying to prevent that and pick up a second consecutive 1-0 victory against conference competition. Nothing in that. And Musa will blast that to the middle of the park.
Rendon's done a nice job of closing down Mertz every chance he's got.
Good touch here. All. Ofemu. Etsu. Not called his name much entering the match.
Pittsburgh making one last push here.
And Lindley. Again, the read. And Lindley has kept himself ready. He has been used as a sub late in matches. But his entrance into the match in terms of a starter has frankly led to an uptick in form by the Indy 11.
He just commands, and there's such a discipline. There's coaching on the field. You watch him, he's constantly talking, he's constantly giving direction. He's coaching on the field. Such a valuable asset.
At the edge of the 18, Ofemu lets that ball walk as long as he can, and he'll step on it. Tried to play it off a Pittsburgh player, deemed he did not. Throw in coming, but again, we're talking about the last seconds here. You're one clearance away if you're the Indy 11, and frankly, leaving the ball for a teammate. You have to score here if you're Pittsburgh. That's your only chance at a point tonight. You've got one chance.
Long throw coming up. This is it.
Can Indy see it out?
They went backwards.
That's it, yep. That ball had to be inside of the 18. Well, it may not be as up and down the pitch as it has been, but you know what? The scoreboard looks a lot better for the home team. First home league win of the season for the Indy 11, and the first time they have put together back-to-back wins in the championship this year. That man and Jack Blake had the only goal of the match. We thought it might have one. That's exactly what it was. It turned into 3 as in points. Full-time, Indy 11-1, and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds 0. Stay tuned. Post-game coverage comes your way next. Watching on Wish TV, Sportsnet Pittsburgh, and the CBS Sports Golazo Network.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.
Every place has a purpose, and the people who inhabit those places have their own reasons for being there. The last thing on their minds should be concerns about the safety of the places they are in. When it comes to security and safety for all the places that matter, Dormakaba offers a seamless flow of integrated solutions that allow people to move securely about their daily lives. Because the places that matter to you matter to us.
It's very true that it takes a village to raise a child. And when it comes to my healthcare village at Community Health Network, it's all nestled right in my phone. Accessing healthcare is the ability to be connected with your provider and ask a question when you need it. I feel like when I'm meeting with a community nurse practitioner or doctor, they're tuned in to what is going on with me and the way that they can serve me best.
Stand by me.
Find it. Try it. Paint it. Love it. 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 Love it. Love it. Love it.
Tonight's match is presented by Community Health Sports Medicine, exceptional care simply delivered, and by your Central Indiana Ford dealers, a proud sponsor of Indy 11 Soccer. Visit your local Ford dealer today for great deals on your favorite Ford vehicle.
Took the Indy 11 about 6 to 8 weeks, kind of round into form last year. Maybe this year, surprisingly, given the amount of players coming back, maybe it's taking a bit longer. You know, we're almost into month 4 of the season for the Indy 11, but they win league matches for the first time in back-to-back tries so far this season. They briefly climb back above the playoff line. Again, they have not been artistic works of beauty. Unless you root for the Indy 11, then you don't care. Back-to-back 1-0 wins. Your thoughts on this one, Mr. Capsalis?
I thought it was fantastic. You know, it wasn't like you said, maybe not pretty all the time, but they did what they needed to do to maintain the possession of this game, maintain the rhythm of this game. The defense stayed, like we talked about earlier, they kept their form, kept their shape, kept their discipline, and the midfield won this game. The midfield, their transition, they didn't create a lot of opportunities in the 11, but this is a great win. I think this is a pivotal moment for this team. And with 2 wins in a row and a lot of home games coming up, I think this is a pivotal moment for this team. And it's going to get them a lot of confidence and a lot of momentum going forward.
Time now for the Schlegel lockdown play of the game as the exchanging of fives at the Brickyard Battalion is about to commence. And again, you kind of felt it would take one mistake, and Barnes takes a tumble. Indy pounces. It took just 3 or 4 touches. Quinn finds Blake. Blake finds the back of the net. That's it, and that's all for scoring in tonight's match at the end of half number 1.
That's all you need. Blake does a nice job here. Does perfect touch right here. Gets him some space. Little deflection. Beautiful goal.
Again, that did take a turn off of Suber, but Blake gets the goal. His 3rd of the season. Now as I'm talking about securing the win, our securing the win moment is brought to us by Allegiant. Jack Blake will be heading our way for a post-match conversation coming up in a matter of moments. We'll talk to Jack Blake before we get to our securing the win moment, because obviously Jack was a big part of doing that for the Indy 11 this evening. Jack has the headsets on now. Let's talk to him. My friend, congratulations, the first league home win of the season. How are you feeling after that one?
Yeah, it feels great, honestly. A lot of hard work gone into it from everyone, staff included, and it's just a team win today. You know, we really wanted that home win, and we've got it, and I feel like we've deserved it, so it feels great.
Frankly, you guys have played a couple of matches like this on the road, and obviously got a win in Birmingham 10 days ago. What was the difference in terms of kind of taking that mentality from the road and applying it to home tonight?
Yeah, you know, it's amazing what momentum does in football. You know, we had a break in between, but still with the taste of the win in Birmingham, we were coming into this game, you know, feeling confident. Again, like football, that probably wasn't our best performance, but, you know, we were clinical and we finished them off. And, you know, like I said, it's not our best performance, and we probably played better and lost earlier in the season. So, yeah, I feel like we got what we've been deserving, and a bit of luck as well. So, yeah, it's nice.
Jack, I think you guys played really well midfield-wise. We talked about managing the midfield, and I thought you guys did a really, really good job of that. Talk about the discipline you have and the way you guys have stayed connected, and especially in transition. You did a really nice job tonight.
Yeah, you know, it's the gaffer spoke before the game about, you know, the mentality of wanting to win and wanting to run, wanting to work for your team. And I feel like everyone did that tonight. And like you said, in the midfield, yeah, it looks like that. You know, it looks like we're picking them off and winning balls in the midfield. But that also comes from the communication of the defenders. You know, Elvis as the 9, showing the defender one way and keeping it predictable. So there's lots of like knock-on effects to that. It was just a team effort, and I thought it was a really like solid defensive performance.
Final thing before we let you go, we showed the highlight of your goal before you walked over. We'll do it again now that you're here. Just kind of walk us through what you saw on that transitional moment, the ball from Quinn, and then getting the result.
Yeah, I mean, Finn did really well to get the ball under control, and when he played Quinny inside, I knew that he'd seen me, so just trying to make that run. Elvis was very unselfish. He made a run forward, and which opened the space for me. And then, yeah, my first touch bobbled a little bit. Honestly, when I was receiving it, I was trying to go right foot shot, but I had to adjust. I felt like the defender overcommitted slightly, came back inside, and probably was an own goal in the end, wasn't it?
Right, left, just the same. We're giving you full credit for what it's worth, by the way. We'll give you the third.
Turned out well.
We'll let you get off your feet. Congrats on the win, buddy. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Jack Blake, kind enough to join us. We'll take this quick time out. The head coach of the Indy 11, and Sean McCauley, will join us when we come back. Indy 11-1, Pittsburgh Riverhounds 0. More post-game coverage comes your way next on Wish TV and the CBS Sports Galazo Network.
Forget all those DIY schemes to try to keep your family cool. Because at Williams Comfort Air, we've got your back.
Ma'am, everything's up and running.
We look forward to keeping your home comfortable for life.
It's like
whether you're hot, cold, or somewhere in between, at Williams Comfort Air, we look forward to keeping your home comfortable for life.
Imagine a health insurance company that could look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals and help its members find what they need to actually live healthier lives, like a stable job, dependable transportation, or a safe place to live. Well, that health insurance company is not only real, but making a real difference right now. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining health insurance.
Our team at Security Federal Savings Bank welcomes you to our newest location, our West Carmel branch on Michigan Road, here to serve you. All the services you expect from a premier bank, personal and business banking, wealth management, trust services, and much more. The Security Federal Savings Bank branch team offers the expertise and knowledge you want and expect. Security Federal Savings Bank, proud of our team and our newest West Carmel location.
Well, the score the same for the Indy 11 as it was the last time we talked to the head coach and Sean McCauley, and he is perfectly fine with that. Second consecutive 1-0 win. Coach, congratulations. How you feeling after back-to-back league victories?
Yeah, really pleased. You know, it's sort of got us on a little run now, so we've got another important game next week, and you know, really pleased that we got the 1-0 win. I was pleased with the defensive structure because obviously we've spoke before about we needed to tighten that up area up in our game because we've not been as consistent in our defensive work. But I think now for 2 games we've shown a real good resiliency and a good shape, and we were difficult to get a goal scored on us today.
Nothing against Hunter. He was solid, but didn't have to be spectacular because the guys in front of him played so well. From a tactic standpoint, from a team standpoint, what led to your success tonight?
I think overall, the work rate and commitment from the players, you know, and I've never ever questioned that. Even when we get beat, I've got an unbelievably good group who want to do everything right for the club, and so I'm really pleased with that. But the amount of work that the players in front of the goalkeeper have to do, and especially forward players, because they're asked to do both sides of the ball. So I'm really pleased with the pressure and the commitment defending, starting from the front. And then it's just infectious. It works its way through the midfield. And then I thought the lads at the back, you know, won every challenge and didn't give the opponent any time or space in the box to get any real chances at goal.
Coach, I really thought we talked about before the game, managing the midfield. You did a great job of managing the midfield today and controlling the game, controlling the pace and transition. Really was impressed with that group tonight.
Yeah, and credit must go to them because they've not played consistently together as a midfield. And I thought Cam Lindley has come into the last couple of games now and he's really shown an unbelievable attitude to wait for his opportunity. And I'm really pleased that once he's got his opportunity, he's taken it. And the other lads are providing a solid base for the team, really, because they're the ones that connect both the back and the front and are involved in every action defensively and offensively. So the midfield were very good. I'm really pleased.
Sean, before we let you go, and again, you have had this wonderful pulse of the Brickyard Battalion, the home supporters, more so than any other manager we've had with the Indy 11, to finally reward them with a home league win. Yes, there was the win in Open Cup play against Miami, but to get that first league dub here for the season, what does that mean to you?
Well, they deserve it more than anyone. The players have put the work in and they've wanted to win the game tonight and they've wanted to win it for the supporters because, we can wish and hope for any sort of result that we get, but we've actually got to go out and do the work. And one thing's for sure is the Brickyard Battalion, they come and they support us every single week, no matter what we're going through. They give us the support, and for us that victory's for them for the first one. And like I said to you right at the very start, we've got a really big one next week now coming up, because then that'll be 3 in a row if we can get that.
It feels like a pivotal moment, Coach. It really does. You've got two wins in a row, your first win at home. It feels like the things are changing. The momentum is there. It feels good. Do you feel that?
I do, yeah. And I'll also say, we had. I've always said we've only lost 3 games all season, and so I've not been really overly too worried about what we're going to try and achieve this year. But we needed to get started, like you've just said there. We needed to get on a momentum, a little run. But the confidence I've got in the players and the confidence that the players have got in making sure that we try and achieve something this season is really high, and it's never been down. And I think it's important that we do again reflect on what the supporters give us with that, because they never let us down, and we've got to now, like you said, get onto this little run of games, and I think the league table will look a little bit better tomorrow morning for us.
You got it, Coach. Congratulations on the win. We'll talk to you next weekend.
Thank you.
Head coach of the Indy 11 and Sean McCauley again. Let's talk about the win. It's our securing the win moment that is brought to us by Allegiant. Again, it was, yes, a goal by Jack Blake, but it was all defensive tonight for the Indy 11.
They had a great game. They defensively, here's the save by Quinn. It's off the back of his shoulder. It was a great, probably the best opportunity that Pittsburgh had. And there's the warrior in Quinn, who is doing everything, including saving shots right now. So pivotal play for Indy 11 there, and of course it's Mr. Quinn.
Well, we've got one more player interview if we can track him down. Pat Hogan will be our final player interview. We'll take this break and hopefully track him down. Talking about a win against his former team. 1-0, the Indy 11 get the dub tonight. Keep talking about it next as you're watching Indy 11 Soccer on Wish TV.
Our team at Security Federal Savings Bank welcomes you to our newest location, our West Carmel branch on Michigan Road, here to serve you. All the services you expect from a premier bank, personal and business banking, wealth management, trust services, and much more. The Security Federal Savings Bank branch team offers the expertise and knowledge you want and expect. Security Federal Savings Bank, proud of our team and our newest West Carmel location.
Imagine a health insurance company that could look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals and help its members find what they need to actually live healthier lives, like a stable job, dependable transportation, or a safe place to live. Well, that health insurance company is not only real, but making a real difference right now. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining health insurance.
You know, when you have spent 90 minutes chasing the match against your former team, and then you sign like every autograph and shake every hand in the west end of the building, you get a little grace from us in terms of getting a little extra time to get the headset on, chat with us in the postgame show. But we thought, you know what, given the clean sheet, given the overall team defensive effort, and given the fact this was against his former team. In fact, he is not wearing an Indy 11 shirt right now because he gave it to one of his former teammates. He's wearing a Riverhound shirt kind of around his neck. Few could pull off that look that Pat Hogan is doing right now. Congrats on the win, my friend. How are you?
I appreciate it. Thank you. I know it's a trending look. You guys should hop on it.
Well, you've been in enough commercials now. I think you could pull that off.
True.
Who did you have the jersey swap with, first of all?
With one of my boys, Sean Suber, the other center back. Played college with him. So it was good to play with him on Pittsburgh last year, and then we were able to play against each other for the first time.
You probably got a little bit of this out of the way because you saw those guys in the preseason friendly in February. What was it like to competing against so many of your former teammates out here tonight?
Yeah, it's always good fun. You see them before the game. You're cracking laughs, making jokes, seeing, oh, hey, I'm going to give one to you today or I'm going to tackle you today. And, once you get out there, it's, he's just like any other player. I'm going to run through him if I can and do anything I can to win. So it's always, it's always fun off the field. But once you're on the field, it's a battle.
I know this has been befuddling, confusing to you that giving up goals has been such a problem here. Tonight it wasn't. What changed kind of against Birmingham and tonight that maybe we didn't see in home matches prior to this one?
Yeah, I think we kind of all sat down as a collective and said, look, like we need to stop letting goals in early. It's hurting us. You can't win a game in the first 10 minutes, but you certainly can lose it, was kind of our mentality coming into the last two games and making sure, we're on the front foot first and we're punching them in the nose first and, ending up on top, at least going into the second half to give us ourselves the best chance.
In the first half, Pat, you made a really, really magnificent block on a shot that looked like it was going far post. It was going to beat Salt, but you got a foot on it, and it looked like the defense was just so disciplined tonight. You guys were in rhythm. You kept your form, kept your shape. It looked really nice. I hope you feel that and talk about a little bit what you guys have worked on to try to get that little tighter that Coach McCauley's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of drilled in us. We've been doing some certain drills and things in training to help reaffirm those aspects of the game, especially the past two games. And, you can see it's like, you get more confident, everyone starts building off each other and, winning seems easy and clean sheets seems possible again. So, just getting back to the basics is what we kind of, dove back into. And as you can see, it's paying off.
Again,
it definitely showed tonight.
Moving from Pittsburgh to Indianapolis is not that big of a culture shock or adjustment, but you've now been here for the last 4 months. How you liking life off the pitch in central Indiana?
Yeah, it's amazing. Place is so nice. Carmel, Indiana is unbelievable. And, the weather could be better. I don't think we've had a sunny day on a game day at home yet this season. Looking for more of those to come. But, no, Indy's amazing, and I'm loving it so far.
You've been on your feet long enough. Go get off of them. Congrats, buddy. Thanks for the time.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Pat Hogan again, kind of wrapping up our player interviews for tonight. Thanks to Jack Blake, and Sean McCauley as always. Let's get to highlights from this one. Again, just one goal to show you. Plenty of defensive stops. Obviously, Pat, a big part of that one. Here is again, miscue, unfortunately, for Barnes. The Butler kid just takes a tumble. Indy 11 pounces. And honestly, these two teams are so even. You kind of felt it might be a mistake that decided the game, and it kind of ended up being that way.
And exactly what happened. And Blake does a great job taking advantage of this, cuts it across, buries the ball, and that was it. That was the only goal of the night.
Jack was trying to say that was an own goal. No, buddy, yeah. You take full credit for that.
Absolutely.
So, again, Indy, here was the one kind of nervy moment that Griffin got a boot in there, and frankly, that's the best play that Solt had to make all evening long.
Yeah, and it was one of those, it looked like it was going to head it to the keeper, but it got miscommunicated. Another opportunity for, Pittsburgh started to press a little bit toward the end of the game, Greg, and here's probably their best opportunity, saved by Mr. Quinn. Beautiful.
And doing so with his shoulder, not an extended arm,
right.
to
So
avoid a point to
legal,
the spot. There's one kind of moment you can point to for almost every defender and say, hey, that's where the moment where you impacted the match would be. Any of those numbers, Coach, really kind of jump off the page at you? No shots on goal for Pittsburgh tonight.
Yeah, that one for sure. No shots on goal. The attempts at Indy 11 had 10. Corner kicks are pretty the same, but pretty, like we talked about earlier, it's going to be a low-scoring, pretty even match, and Indy 11 found a way to pull it out. Again, the other big save in that game we just talked about with Pat Hogan was that block in the first half that he had that looked like it was going far post. So Hogan and Quinn made two unbelievable saves today, giving Salt a little bit of a breather.
Again, remember this team last year went from mid-April till the end of June without a loss. You know there's a run in this group, and now that you're at home for most of the next 2 months, look at this team will travel twice between now and August the 9th. Is this where the run starts for the Indy 11?
I think it does. They can settle in, take command, take control. Two nice victories. Their first one at home. I think this is a pivotal moment for Indy 11, and I think we're going to see some really, really fun games coming up.
Hunter Salt may get to leave the pitch at some point in time. He's still not close to the locker room as he's signing that young fan's jersey. We'll take this quick time out. More post-match coverage from Carroll Stadium comes your way next. Indy 11-1, Pittsburgh Riverhounds 0. As you're watching Indy 11 Soccer on Wish TV.
The summer of soccer is here with the Indy 11. And you've got the chance to win a getaway to Charleston, South Carolina. When you grab our Summer of Soccer ticket deal, you get 10 entries into the Summer of Soccer Getaway Sweepstakes for a chance at a trip for two with flights, hotels, and meals covered. All this while you get to have a blast with the boys in blue all summer. Get your tickets now at Indy11.com.
Find it, try it, paint it, love it. 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 Find it, try it, paint it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
This is Molly. She loves road trips, hikes, her dog Max, and cars that fit her lifestyle, like this cool new ride that she got with help from Indiana Members Credit Union at a great low rate. And for when she's on the go, IMCU makes it easy for her to pay from anywhere thanks to their digital banking. Looks like Molly is really getting the max from her credit union.
Indy 11 have several international players on the squad. Neither of those two that you see right there. But the backup to Hunter Salt is Reece Charles Cook. And much like Hayden White, it's a first trip away from England to play professional soccer. So what do? You get out and you see the country. And if you're on a road trip, where are you going to go? Well, the answer is Buc-ee's. Reece got to go for the first time on the way to Knoxville. Our cameras tagged along. Take a look.
Well, they've been talking about this for a while. I don't know what the hell Buc-ee's is. Apparently it's a petrol station, or petrol garage, what they call it over here. And apparently it's the biggest thing like in the world. Apparently it's got everything inside a petrol garage, which I generally can't believe. So let's go inside and let's see how overhyped this place is. Hold on. What in the flying... Bro, why can't I... Huh? This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. No, I'm not joking. I genuinely think you can get a trolley in here and do like your full-on...
shopping.
Yeah, like your full-on grocery shopping here. What's going on? Is that a restaurant? I'm going to act like the model professional in here and act like I only want fruit, but that is definitely going to be a lie. What I'm going to get is going to be embarrassing. You know what? Just for the plot, like, just because I can. Do you know what I mean? Like, is that skillets? Who generally thought of this? Like, who thought this was a good idea? Because I'm not getting at them. It's unbelievable out there. This is amazing. Like, I'm genuinely gawked.
This is the epitome of America.
Big dog.
Yeah, we'll take a photo. Picture.
Can I get a picture? Thank you. So what I do like about...
This guy's got a basket, man.
Yeah, 100%. I'm 100%. Yeah, 100%. Brother. No, you know what? I want the gummy butterflies. See, this is where problems start, because now I'm in the sweet section. This is better than, no joke, this is better than the Myers in Carmel. Generally, it'd be wrong of me to only get one sandwich in it. Yeah. So wait, where do you pay for all of this? The guys ain't lying. This is generally an amazing experience. Like, it's incredible, unbelievable. That's for me.
Remember, you're starting tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not eating it all now. It's a long journey back, you know.
I used to play goalie when I was like little.
That's what position I play. I'm a goalkeeper. Why do you stop?
There's another game I like, lacrosse.
Lacrosse. You need to come back to a real sport.
This is a real sport.
Lacrosse ain't a real sport. You just run around and hit people with your sticks. Like, that's not a real sport.
No, you can make goals. That's what I do.
Yeah? Listen, when you're ready to come back to football, let me know.
I'm going to score on you.
You could never.
Yes, I would.
You could never. I mean, ever. To the day I die, I promise you'll never score against me.
I can score on you.
Pleasure meeting you, my boy. And again, you'll never score on me. Have a good day. One experience, I will be back. And I mean 10 out of 10. I didn't get enough, I'll be honest.
All right, give me 10 seconds to translate from Reese's English to American English. Trolley equals shopping cart. Petrol garage equals convenience mart or gas station. Gobbed means you are gobsmacked. You cannot believe what you see.
That was fun.
Reese did start that night and had a clean sheet. So whatever he got at Buc-ee's worked out just fine. That was on the way to the May 24th Jägermeister Cup match down in Knoxville. Dan, final thoughts on this one?
Really impressed with Indy 11. Great victory, needed victory. Like I said, it's a pivotal moment for them, momentum builder. Really enjoyed watching them tonight.
Upcoming matches for the Indy 11. We're going to televise a lot of them here on Wish TV, CBS Sports Golazo Network, Las Vegas Lights in town next Saturday. Then a Wednesday trip to St. Petersburg. That's on ESPN2. Jägermeister Cup match against the Birmingham Legion on June 28th. Monterey Bay comes a-calling on July 5th. Rhode Island, last year's Eastern Conference champions, will be here July 12th. Then back on the road in Cary against North Carolina FC. Again, North Carolina FC has been on a winning streak as of late. That match is July 18th, a Friday night in the Raleigh-Durham Triangle. For Dan Capsalis and our entire Tupelo Honey crew, this is Greg Rakestraw. Pups on the pitch night went very well for the Indy 11. There was just one goal in the match. It belonged to Jack Blake. It came just before halftime. Indy, for a second consecutive match, has a clean sheet and all 3 points. Final score this evening, Indy 11-1, 0 for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Good night from the mic.
Our team at Security Federal Savings Bank welcomes you to our newest location, our West Carmel branch on Michigan Road, here to serve you. All the services you expect from a premier bank, personal and business banking, wealth management, trust services, and much more. The Security Federal Savings Bank branch team offers the expertise and knowledge you want and expect. Security Federal Savings Bank, proud of our team and our newest West Carmel location.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
It's very true.
Try it. Paint it.
It's very true that it takes a village to raise a child. And when it comes to my health,
try it. Paint it. Love it.